I do have something.
Why'd you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that too obvious? I do have something to put forth, and Malcolm actually doesn't know this yet.
Here we go.
Malcolm's on here right now.
He's literally dozing off into space.
You say Malcolm doesn't know. Does that imply that we know?
Yes, you guys know. Or else I would have said no one knows.
I don't know.
You don't know it, and you weren't actually there that day, and you missed a really miraculous sight, I would say.
A site?
A miraculous sight.
You accepted to a school?
No.
Oh.
I know what you're talking about.
Now I'm depressed. Awesome.
He goes, no.
Mark tried skating.
Oh, yeah, you told me.
Oh,
I showed him a video.
you showed him the video. Oh,
Yeah,
here I am building it up as if he's never seen it.
It's been a few days.
Thunder taken.
So, Mark, tell us a little bit about your first experience on the ice.
Sure, yeah. It was kind of like I started with not being able to stand up at all with the skates, like even like on the rubber there.
Yeah.
So I was like, in my mind immediately, I'm like, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to skate. If I can't even stand at all, I thought I'd be able to stand at least, but I just could barely stand. But then I used the guardrail thing. Patrick found one for me. And I started to like think in my head, like, how does it look like when people skate? And then Matty talked about the push back, like the push off the back leg type thing. So I just imagined the rhythm of like skating.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like try to mimic that, and then I started working a little bit. So I quickly got comfortable with the guardrail thing, and I started a little bit without it. So I think that like I definitely have potential to be okay at skating, just like without it at some point.
Yeah, rate as an exceptional skater yourself. Rate his first time.
I will not, but I will say it was a proud Canadian moment.
Why won't you rate it?
Yeah, why wouldn't you rate it? Considering it was his first time.
No, he did really good for like. I mean, not that I see people all the time doing their like first time on the ice, but like
Yeah,
I
okay.
thought for sure Mark would have been like just sort of doing like the kind of walking thing and like, you know, taking an hour to like get one lap around the rink or whatever. And then when he was like going with the thing, I was like, oh, like he's, you know, getting the hang
it's
of
called
it.
a 10 out of 10 performance.
Mark has a 10 out of 10
Coward.
performance. No, but it was a proud Canadian moment for me where I was like, we got another one.
I honestly couldn't believe that I was able to do it like that. Like I just wasn't. I thought it might be something that I'm just not good at. Maybe I just have shit balance. Like some people don't know how to skate.
Yeah.
But I think I'll try to like next time we go, I'll try not to use the thing very much.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably have to a little bit just to get the rhythm back.
Are you gonna buy a helmet?
A helmet. It's probably not a bad idea because I want to be able to practice without it. And then the problem is like the falling back on my head type thing.
Just in case kind
I
of
mean,
thing.
even if you have like an old rinky-dink bike helmet or something.
Or even if I don't, I feel like you guys mentioned like leaning forward a lot. So
For the love of God, don't ever lean back. Just,
so
please just don't do it.
So I think that even if I don't have a helmet, I can like lean forward and practice. So that worst case scenario, I fall to my knees or in my.
I feel like worst case scenario is that you accidentally lean back. Right?
No, but I'm gonna be very conscious of like making my body like an L, like bending down.
Like for example, what if someone like cuts in front of you and like you know what I'm saying? Like you unconsciously just like do that motion.
Well, then
it's out of your hands.
Well, then it goes to court.
We'll duct tape a pillow to the back of his Mark's head so that if he falls, he just all of a sudden hits.
You know,
it's sleep time.
You know, it's so I don't want to say the word cool. I also don't want to say the word cute. Just this thing I've seen online a lot of snowboarders and skiers who are like beginners. They have these like plush turtles and plush. What other? Is it just turtles? I've mainly seen plush turtles where they put it on like their back or their butt, and then they go down. And if they fall, then they have like a cushion landing kind of thing. And it's like a cute little way of like. Again, I didn't want to use the word cute, but
a cute way of not injuring yourself.
A cute way of not injuring yourself.
Why can't you say cute?
It doesn't feel right.
Okay. I don't know. It feels like a lot has happened between last week when we recorded. It'll all be.
Sorry, this is bothering me.
It's not.
Thank you.
Thank goodness.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for
The
looking
collar
out
was
for
up
me.
in the back.
Oh, okay. Thank you for looking out for me. And this will all be wildly out of date by the time this comes up, which is Patrick's favorite thing when I do that on the show. But two things I just really quickly wanted to launch, and then we'll get into the show because we don't need to belabor this. Number one, Carl Weathers died.
Oh, rest
This is
in peace.
very sad
Goodbye.
and tragic for me. Good
Is
riddance.
he related to
as
Bill
we always
Withers?
joke.
Carl
Carl
Weathers.
Weathers.
Oh, not Withers?
No.
Oh, okay. Who's that?
You know who Carl Weathers is? He played Lando Calrissian.
No, different guy.
Really?
Yeah, Billy Dooley was his Lando.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so he played the guy in Rocky then, right?
Yeah, he's Apollo
I
in
thought he
Rocky.
played Lando.
He's Dylan in fucking Predator when they do the greatest handshake in human
I don't know
history.
the actors from those movies.
And you've seen Mandalorian?
Yeah.
He's in Mandalorian. The
Yes.
black guy, older black guy in Mandalorian.
That's what
You mean Giancarlo?
I've never seen
fucking
Mandalorian. The reason I thought he was a thing is because in Mandalorian I didn't watch the show, but I thought he was like older Lando Calrissian.
No, he's just in it as like I haven't seen it either, but I just know he's some other character. I could pull up a picture for you. I won't.
Okay.
So he died. That's very sad. That sucks. Second quick thing, and this is totally nerdy and in the weeds, and I won't belabor it, but I just wanted to like talk to you guys about it really quickly. Is currently in the gaming world, things are ablaze because Xbox is seemingly like completely on fucking fire. Where like,
What do you mean? In a good way?
in a bad way,
Oh.
bad for them. Where like
go
Game
PlayStation.
Awards happened, we get the Blade trailer, and there's not a single indication that that game is even coming to Xbox on there, even though it's their fucking studio that they own now through Bethesda. And it's like, that's a little weird. Then there's been rumors the past couple weeks that Hi-Fi Rush, which was their game from last year, and Sea of Thieves, which is like that ongoing pirate kind of game they've had for a while, that both of those might be migrating to other platforms. And everybody's kind of like, okay, that's like weird and interesting, but like, why would they do that?
Because those games were exclusive, or they're
yeah,
still
like they're
exclusive for
Xbox exclusives. And then people were kind of rationalizing it of like, okay, well, Sea of Thieves is like 6 years old. So you've probably gotten everything you can out of it. So why not put it everywhere? Hi-Fi Rush, the argument was like, that's the kind of game that kind of feels right everywhere. And even the PlayStation show I listened to, like one of the hosts on that was making the point of like, that game was made by a Japanese studio. Xbox has zero fucking presence in Japan. So I'm sure for that studio, it's also frustrating to be like, hey, we made this game that was like up for some awards at the Game Awards and is like really liked and really popular and whatever. Oh, but like,
no Xbox players.
nobody in our fucking backyard is like playing it and talking about it because just Xbox has no presence in Japan. So then it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. The rumors and the reporting and the bombshells have gotten so big to the point that it's now getting to the point where people are saying things like Starfield is going to migrate. Indiana Jones is going to migrate. Potentially Hellblade 2 is going to migrate. And it's getting to this point now where Phil Spencer on Monday of this week sent out a thing, like a tweet basically being like, hey, we hear everybody. We see all the like how the fucking internet's on fire right now about all this. We've been planning a sort of business thing. You'll know more next week. So by the time this is out, there will probably be an answer. But it's like to the point now where people are basically like, so are they going just third party? And it's going to be a thing of like, they have the Xbox and they have Game Pass, but they're just going to put their games everywhere. But then people are like, are they doing it day and date? Or is it going to be like a, Xbox gets Starfield first and then like a year later, it'll come everywhere else kind of thing. Like if you're patient enough and want to wait for it. It's all very interesting. It's all very fascinating in the gaming world. I can't wait to see how it plays out. Xbox, give me them games. Because I don't want to have to buy your box. I just want Indiana Jones. I want Hellblade 2.
What was that game that looked really cool that I think we were talking about at some point? Was it like that super dope pixel art game? Was that the one that was like... There's a game that we were talking about.
There's one of those from like years ago, that was supposed to be exclusive to or whatever, where it's like, that's another thing. Fucking give it to me. But yes, I just really quickly
What about Halo, dude?
Well, that's the other thing. Halo,
dude, I'd play Halo
if it happens,
so hard on PlayStation.
Halo's coming to PlayStation.
That'd be incredible.
Gears of War, it's coming. Like if they start putting shit, it's all coming. Maybe not the like, if the new Halo comes out, is it going to come out on PlayStation the same day? Probably not. But we're for sure going to get like the Master Chief Collection with like the original trilogy and whatever.
I feel like if they do that, then their next step is to just dissolve the Xbox.
Well, this is what's been so fascinating of people talking about, like, people have been kind of like doom and gloom about it. And I don't necessarily think, until they say anything, I don't think it's the end of the world for Xbox yet. There's a compelling argument to make of like, hey, PlayStation gamer, we're putting out, because we own so many studios, like within the next few months for Xbox this year alone, it's like, okay, Hellblade in like April, I think they said, or May or whatever it is. Indiana Jones in like the fall or something. Starfield's supposed to get like some big update and probably some DLC. So it's like you have these things where it's like Hi-Fi Rush, Hellblade, Indiana Jones, Starfield. Okay. There's an interesting argument to make of like, hey, PlayStation gamer, do you want to pay $70 for every single one of those games? Or would you rather just buy an Xbox and pay $15 a month for Game Pass and have all those games plus a million other games kind of thing? Like, is that an enticing enough offer to get people over, is the question. I don't know. Why are you just staring at me?
Oh, I thought you were going to
The other thing too is that like Xbox seems like, and they've kind of talked about this for years, but even the new smart TV I bought has a Game Pass app on it. So like you can just play Game Pass and it's streaming it, not downloading it. And obviously streaming tech's a little more like touch and go. But you can just play Xbox Game Pass stuff right now without the box.
What would you do if we checked in on what would you do if you looked at Patrick and then we like his heart's not beating? Like that's how he died. He just was staring at you and then he just never came back.
And there's been reports for a while now about Xbox developing basically like an equivalent to like a Fire Stick of like something you would just plug into the back of your TV that would like connect to Game Pass. You would just have to plug it or like Bluetooth a controller to your TV and you could just play it that way. So it's probably going to get to the point where like, sure, Xbox is going to maybe sell the box still, but it might also be the thing of, again, is this an enticing argument to like people like me and you guys that are more in the PlayStation camp of like, hey, PlayStation gamer, instead of paying $70 for every game we put out, buy this $50 dongle, stick it in the back of your TV, and pay for Game Pass monthly.
That's what you were saying.
And there you go.
Oh.
What?
I thought he was talking about buying an Xbox.
That's the other option too, of like come buy an Xbox and then don't pay for your
Dongle
games
is more
really.
enticing.
Personally, to me, if they were like, hey, here's a dongle, that would be way more enticing than spend $500 on the box.
You know what I think? Who are you calling a dongle?
First of all. But yeah, it is also, there are definitely people that are coming at it from the perspective of like, well, Xbox is basically like they're done. Like it's kind of, this is over sort of thing.
The Last Dance.
I don't know.
The Last Dance, which it kind of
seems like
in a way seems like it and almost is, and at the same time it's kind of like, I mean, we kind of knew it was coming, I guess, when considering how much PlayStation outsells Xbox. It's funny because for years, especially after the Wii U, people always used to say about Nintendo like, oh, Nintendo's dead after the Wii U, like they're not going to make consoles anymore, they're just gonna do like games, so Mario will be on PlayStation and Xbox and Zelda will be on PlayStation and Xbox, and then they came out with the Switch and we're like, nah, fuck you, we're still Nintendo, like we'll be okay kind of thing.
I know this isn't good for the gaming industry, but I'd like the idea of like a bunch of these companies merging so I can play all these awesome games on my PlayStation. Well, like I'd love to play, I'd love if like, what if they're like, oh, Xbox is officially merging with PlayStation under the umbrella of PlayStation, so now all these Xbox exclusives are like PlayStation exclusives and we're like, you know, we're partners type thing. We're having our individual teams and shit, but like, you know.
There is a part of it where I look at it from the perspective of like when they're like, hey, Starfield, Indiana Jones, Hellblade, Halo, Gears of War, all this shit coming to PlayStation. I'm like, well, fuck yeah. Like, I've always wanted to play the Halo games. I've always been interested in Gears. I'm super excited in Indiana Jones. Starfield, I know like people liked it, people didn't, but like I like Bethesda shit. I'd like to play Starfield. So in that perspective, it's enticing to me. At the same time, there's two things. A, I do feel for the Xbox fans that are very like sad and sort of like doom and gloom about this to an extent. And there is also a part of me that's like, even if Xbox is like not winning, I think they're good for the industry. What's your problem? Keep doing all kinds of weird looks and motions.
I think so. I just having the variety.
I think having that competition is good, and people make the counterpoint of like, well, what competition is Xbox really offering? But it's like you look at something like the way they changed PS Plus, where it's like the essential tier, the extra tier, and like the premium tier.
Response to Game Pass.
That would almost certainly not exist if it weren't for Game Pass and all the other things that like Xbox it did first. Achievements came before trophies, and like online Xbox, the original Xbox was doing that
Gold
when like fucking PS2 was still like online. What? Like, so in a lot of ways they've done all these things that are like ubiquitous now. So there's a part of me that's also like,
you're scared that the innovation will get lost without competition.
Because people already feel that way about PlayStation now, where it's like, yeah, Spider-Man 2 is great, but it's kind of just more Spider-Man 2. And God of War Ragnarok.
More Spider-Man 1.
Spider-Man 1.
It is.
How did you feel about that game, by the way?
You weren't crazy about it.
I wasn't crazy about it.
Really?
Spider-Man 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard people say that it's
a good
as good as the first one.
It's a good game, but I still haven't found a great way of verbalizing it. But again, to me, the skeleton of that game is the same arc as the first game. Like, it didn't feel like it was just like, let's take this piece out and let's put Venom in. Let's take, you know what I'm saying?
But that's why. I mean, I haven't played the game yet, and that's part of the reason why I didn't buy it right away. Because it seemed like when I watched all the gameplay that it's gonna feel like the same game, and the only reason I'd want it is to experience the new story,
yes,
and the new characters and stuff. So I'm still gonna do that at some point. But to me, like I felt I felt somewhat the same way about God of War Ragnarok, where I think I have a soft spot in my heart for the first game, and I like the 2018 God of War more, I think. But Ragnarok, because it's so story heavy and it has a really good, interesting story, it satisfied me, and the gameplay was as fun as the original.
Mm-hmm.
But with Spider-Man, like, I don't know, it didn't. I don't know what the story is like, but it didn't seem to me like the story was like a super, super heavy focus. I don't know. Was it? I don't know.
I don't want to spoil anything,
Sure.
but one of the moments that most disappointed me was at the end when they tried to elicit a heartbreaking, tearful moment, and it was just so painfully
Forced?
Not forced, but it was like in my mind, I could see that they were trying to emulate the same, again, arc, same ending, kind of, like the first game, but they didn't succeed in doing so. Like, they failed in trying to elicit the emotion there.
Yes. And, well, sure, we can debate Spider-Man 2. But that's what I'm saying, where it's like people already talk about PlayStation in the way of like, and people have said this for years, but especially now where it's like, PS4 generation was when they kind of not turned it around because they ended up winning the PS3 generation against the 360, but it was like going into the PS4 generation, it was kind of like for those first few years, it was like infamous Second Son. And
I need to say one more thing, sorry, about Spider-Man. They said they couldn't stick with their guns in Spider-Man 2. And again, I'm not going to spoil anything. Matthew will understand what I'm saying here. In Spider-Man 1, they give a risky sort of, not a risky,
they take a chance.
They give an ultimatum and they follow through with the ultimatum. In fact, that was the solution they needed. In Spider-Man 2, they give another ultimatum, and it's like they go back on it, where they got both the victory without any consequence.
It's a little cake and eat it too kind of
exactly
thing. Sure, yeah, I see that.
Can I make a comparison really quick before you continue? To me, it sounds like a sort of like Force Awakens type deal, where it's like it feels too much like the A New Hope, very formulaic and very similar to the original. But, you know, it's newer and it has cool new visuals and it has like interesting characters and stuff. But ultimately, it doesn't feel unique enough to stand on its own type thing.
And that's just a thing where like people have been saying that about PlayStation for a while now, and especially now that we're starting to get sequels to some of these things, it's like, okay, Spider-Man 2 is great, fantastic, I think better in a lot of ways, but it is more Spider-Man. And God of War Ragnarok, I think, is a better game, fascinating story. It's one of my favorite games ever, but in some ways, it is more God of War 2018.
I like what they did because they introduced Atreus, and that really added a different dimension to it because you get to play for him as him for a good chunk of the game.
Right.
That really helped. If it was just Kratos the whole time, same moveset, a couple new moves, I'd be a little frustrated, but I'm glad that they introduced that.
Yeah, they do things to change it, but it is so that getting back to the point, and I'm sorry we went way in the weeds in this more than I intended.
It's okay.
But it gets to the point of what I'm saying, where it's like I like Xbox's presence in the industry because I feel like it forces Sony, even if they're like a distant second place, it forces Sony to like not get too cocky. Nintendo, they don't really have to worry about because ever since the fucking Wii, Nintendo's sort of just been doing their own thing, especially now with the Switch, where it's like we're just going to dominate the handheld space. But with Xbox and PlayStation, it's like PlayStation was at their worst at the end of the PS2 going into the PS3 when they had just finished putting out the still highest selling console of all time in the PS2 and had like, you know, crushed Xbox, even though they did like, it was a good entry point into the market. And then you get to the PS3 where it's like $600 for this console in 2007 or whatever it was. And the whole fucking world was like, nope, fuck you. And then the 360 takes off and it forced PlayStation during the PS3 era to be like, shit, we thought we were on top of the world, and now these Xbox guys are eating our lunch because Halo's crushing and the online stuff is crushing and yada yada, and we have to like turn the ship around. And you get to the end of the PS3 where they did. You get your Uncharted trilogy, you get your Killzones and your Resistances. You end the generation on the fucking Last of Us. Like if there's ever a way to end a generation, it's with a game like that. So it's like they turn it around, and then in the PS4, even though they dominated and they're still
PS5?
Dominating now.
PS4
after the 3.
Oh, you're so
dominated in the PS4, dominating right now in the PS5.
They went 3 and then 4 before 5.
No, I thought he'd finished. He's talked about the end of the.
Okay.
What I'm basically just saying, to put a pin on it, or a lid on it, is that a cocky Sony that has no competition is not a good Sony. I know people like to bitch and moan about capitalism. In a lot of ways, it's entirely justified and 100% accurate. But the nugget of capitalism that I do like and think works is the sort of competition breeds excellence idea of like, well, if you have to compete against the next guy who's got like, you know, a similar product or a better product or a cheaper product or this, that, and the other thing, like it forces you to like stay competitive kind of thing. And a ecosystem without Xbox worries me ever so slightly that Sony just gets to sort of like sit back and be like, all right, we've won. We know we're the shit. We don't have to like try as hard, or we don't have to do this, that, or the other thing, because where the fuck else are you going to go? Like you can go to Nintendo, sure, but it's not comparable like Xbox is to PlayStation.
I get what you're saying. I just feel like no matter what they're going to like, I don't think necessarily it's a company thing. I feel like it's, as long as there's people who are passionate about making great games, like great games are going to come out regardless of whether there's competition or not. Like to me, like something like The Last of Us would have come out no matter who was competing with them or not. You know what I'm saying? Because Naughty Dog wanted to make that game. They had a vision for that game, and it was funded by, you know, I just feel like I get what you're saying for sure, though, in terms of like innovation, like
sure. And
also like when you like with Game Pass, like PlayStation had to react to it, but if there's nothing to react to, then they just stay the same. I know
exactly.
There's complacency.
Yeah,
sure.
There's that sense of like, does it get too complacent
as a company and as a product?
Yeah,
you know. Yeah.
Only time will tell. Like I said, by the time this comes out, apparently Phil Spencer and them have been planning something, so we will have a response. Is it the end of days? Is it not that bad? Who knows?
Have you guys noticed, by the way, that when Matty was saying like the Xbox 360 like really did well? I find that when I ask anybody about any gamers about their console history, it always goes PS2, 360, Xbox 360, and then PS4. Like they kind of did that back and forth, and I guess like. Yeah, I didn't, because when you were saying that, I didn't even realize that Xbox 360 destroyed PS3 like that.
Yeah, for the first few years, it was destroying. And it also helped that the 360 came out a year before the PS3. Like, it was 2006, and then the PS3 was 2007, which gave, arguably, it's like, oh, PlayStation has time to react. But at the same time, it's like, well, that's a full calendar. That's a full calendar year of everybody out and going and getting an Xbox and telling all their buddies about, hey, fucking Halo 3, and let's get an Xbox, and blah, blah, blah. So by the time you come out with your $600 fucking console, people are like, well, fuck that, I'll go spend $4 or $5 or whatever the 360 was, where all my friends are already playing.
I think it was
and
like
go
something,
play over there.
Wasn't it crazy? Like, I think it was like $3.99 for Xbox versus like $5.99 or something for PlayStation. Something
ridiculous
crazy
like that. But
before we move out of this,
please,
when you were mentioning,
here we go.
When you were mentioning the Xbox like dongle idea, it brought me back to, I don't know if you guys ever had these like little boxes that were like different games. There was like a SpongeBob one and a Shrek one. That
I know exactly
what
you're talking about.
Oh my god, you were unlocking a core memory right now.
When Matty
you know those things where it used to be like a thing, it'd be like a joystick and maybe some buttons, and you would like plug it into your TV and it would have games just preloaded on it?
I don't remember that.
Oh man.
I used to have like this Shrek golf one.
I remember we bought some from a garage sale, but they never worked. Like I was never able to play them.
I remember I had one that was like kind of like a arcade one where it was like, I think it was just like Pac-Man, Galaga, and maybe, I don't know, like Centipede or some other, like one other game. And I remember playing that one. And then I had 2 Spider-Man ones. One was like an all black looking one because it was based off of Spider-Man 3. So it was like a Spider-Man 3.
Oh my god, I had that
thing
one
or whatever.
too.
But the other one I had was like a Spider-Man one that wasn't tied to like any game or movie or anything. And it was awesome because it had like a main campaign mode, but then it had these like separate little mini games. Like one, it was like something where it was like the Vulture attacking some like construction site, and you would have to like web it and like kind of fix it. And the other one that I always remember was really cool was it was basically like a sewer thing where it would make you go through this like big ass sewer maze,
lizard or something?
But the entire time the fucking lizards following you kind of thing. And I just remember playing, and it was like freaky as a kid. Yeah, I haven't thought about those things in 1,000 years, but you've now also like unlocked this to me. A month or so ago, my dad and I went to, in Mississauga, they had some like Mississauga Comic-Con. And it was just in like some ballroom in like a hotel, but it was actually pretty neat. Like they had some good stuff there, but it was like half comic books and stuff, and then half like collectibles and like old retro toys and all this stuff. And like a lot of people were selling old games and whatever. I actually got GTA 4 there. But there were some people that had those plug and play things. None of the ones that I recognized, but like the things where it's like the joystick, some buttons, and you would just plug like the red, white, yellow thing into the back of your TV and play. But I think I had the SpongeBob one too. The SpongeBob one is vaguely familiar to me.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about there.
That's all.
There you go. Should I just make this my topic? Because this has been a big... I had an actual topic that I wanted to get
long was
into.
it?
We're 30 minutes. Well, if you take out some of the preamble time. So should I just make this the topic? I feel bad because I feel bad that we've talked about all this and then we're still going to do 4 topics.
Doesn't matter to me.
You know what?
You have time to decide.
We'll see what happens. You know what? Put me last then,
Okay.
so that if we do your 3 and we decide we're done, we'll just say this was my topic and it'll be fucking
Okay.
Let's do it.
video game business stuff. Anyways, I guess we would cut normally, huh? Welcome back to episode 48. Good God, we're approaching 50. Of Wild...
All right. Oh, wow.
Welcome back. We're leaving all that in to episode 48 of Wildly Adequate. That's what the show's called. That's what I meant to say. The podcast about anything, everything, and
That's the
usually
first time
nothing.
you've called it the podcast about everything.
The
It's
show,
usually the show.
it is. Wow, we're really off to a rough start here. After that 30-minute maybe topic, maybe cold open. I, as always, am 1/4 of your host and crew, Mr. Matthew Urso, and I am joined by...
Patty.
Wow.
Quick.
Patty, huh?
Patty, what's wrong with that?
All right.
He was quick on the draw with that.
Patty, Marky, Malky.
Sure.
Wow.
Sure, on it.
Patty Parky, Patty Parky, Patty...
What is wrong with you today?
What if after this point he never recovered? He couldn't
always
speak normal
stumbled.
sentences anymore.
Malcolm, take us away.
What are
We
we
got a
doing,
game today.
What?
I love playing games. I don't know
I
why.
also like playing games. Let's do it.
Today there will be a prize involved. Don't know what it is yet, obviously.
Whoa.
Obviously, I don't know what the prize
Yeah,
is
do we
yet.
have, where's our stands at? Here we go. When we play games, I like having a stand.
What's the game?
Today we're going to be solving riddles.
Oh, boy.
God.
I hate this shit, dude.
Interesting.
I'm gonna look so stupid. I already know it.
God, I'm gonna look like a buffoon now.
So, whenever everyone's ready, let me know.
Wait, you're gonna
We're
play
good.
too?
No. I'm reading them out.
But you don't have to look at the answer, do you?
The answers are here.
Okay. Well,
I'm sure you can't see that.
yeah, let's do it.
Don't let Patrick cheat because
You're gonna need to be good at filling time, I think.
Yeah.
What do we
I'm
think?
going to give 30 seconds for each.
30 seconds.
It's a riddle. It's a riddle. You have to think about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I think I need 5 minutes to solve the riddle.
Oh,
All
boy.
right.
5
Alright.
minutes.
Give me 5 minutes per riddle.
That's wacky, but let's get started, huh?
2 riddles.
All right. The first riddle is, the more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I?
The more you take, the more you leave.
Don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate
The
it.
more you take, the more you leave behind.
I think I know this one. The thing I hate about riddles is the language they
The
choose
double
to use. You know what I
meanings
mean?
and stuff. Yeah, I'm like, what does it mean by leave behind?
What is it for me? It's what do they mean by take?
The more, can you repeat it? The phrasing of it?
The more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I?
Like, I don't know if it's if I'm too broad with my answer. I guess we'll see. Is it like a concept? Not a concept, but it's like a general grouping of these things. You know, don't answer that. Whatever. I'm
ready.
good to go.
No, yeah,
Alright.
give me one moment.
Minute? He said
No,
30
one moment.
Moment. Oh, okay.
Let's go 5 seconds.
Give Mark 5 minutes.
The more you take.
4, 3, 2,
I don't know, bro.
1. We got food, time,
I put time.
and time. The answer is footsteps.
God damn it.
Yeah, time doesn't make any
Patrick,
sense. That's why I
explain
didn't.
Food, the more you
The more you take, the more you leave behind?
yeah, the more when if you have a plate of food, the more you eat, the more you.
That doesn't make any sense.
I thought it was I was thinking
Doesn't make
I was
any
torn
sense.
between
Damn.
time.
It made so
or,
much sense in my head.
I was torn between time or breathing or air or some shit. Where it's you take more breaths and then you breathe more.
That's a good little,
See, there it is. The more you
like
take
how-
is one thing, the more you leave behind is a separate thing. God damn it.
that's a good little effort for the first one.
Mm.
All right. What is more useful when it's broken?
What is more useful when it's broken?
I know something
so
that is,
vague,
but
though.
I don't know if I c- it okay. Can I have multiple answers for this one, or can you have multiple answers?
This is giving one answer, but if you can name something else that's more useful when it's broken, I'll accept it.
What? No, there's only one answer.
I mean, according to this is one. You know what? Same answer. I'm not taking extras.
I'm not
taking
gonna
extras.
take one.
What if I can rationalize my answer?
Dude,
Wait,
I'm
so
ready
it
to
says
go.
it says the more it's more useful. Something that's more useful when it's broken.
What is more useful when it is broken?
What is more useful when it is broken?
Not a condom, I'll tell you what.
Nope.
In fact, it's quite the opposite of useful. I'm ready to go here, Malcolm.
So I
I'm
can put
not
multiple
yet.
answers? Because I'm
No.
thinking of multiple things here. I have to pick one.
I have to pick one.
I have to pick one?
Yes.
Choose wisely.
What is more useful
All right, let's
when it is
go.
broken?
10 seconds.
What is more useful when it is broken?
I don't think I'm right. I have what sounds like it could fit, but I don't think I'm right. But I feel like this
Okay,
is
here-
5,
Wait.
4,
I'm sticking 2 answers, bro.
3. Don't do 2 answers. I'm not gonna take it. I'm not gonna take any of them.
I
Just
have
take
no
with
idea,
2.
dude.
I already
2,
wrote them.
And
Oh, that's a good one, Patrick. I put someone's water breaking.
Oh, you put egg too?
I just put water breaking. I don't even
I'm
know.
giving it to Matty.
What was it? What's the answer?
You put egg.
an egg.
I put egg
I
too,
told,
though.
I told you if you had 2 answers, I wasn't gonna take it.
But glow stick, I knew was gonna be wrong because it's so specific.
Why did you take it off?
Stick.
I didn't have time. You said 3, 2, 1.
You know what's
I already had them there.
It says more useful.
yeah.
That's such a vague term because an egg. That's strange to call an egg useful. Like, oh, this egg is useful. I wasn't thinking about food. You know?
Riddles, baby.
God damn it.
I'm on the board. Actually, I did not think egg was going to be right.
I am easy to lift but hard to throw. What am I?
I'm easy to
Easy to lift,
but hard.
but harder to throw. I'm going to start just rationalizing these things out loud to you guys, and I don't care if it helps
No,
or hurt you.
please don't.
Because I need to lift weight, but throw weight. That doesn't make any sense.
Easier to lift, but what?
Harder to throw. Easier to lift, but harder. I was thinking like lift your spirits.
Wait, read it one more time, sorry.
Throw spirits.
I am easy to lift but hard to throw.
I am easy to lift, but harder to throw.
Hard to throw.
Hard
Easy
to
to
throw.
lift, but hard to throw. Easy to lift, but hard to throw.
I don't even know, dude.
It's not like a trick or anything. Just think of something that's easy to lift.
thanks.
Thing or like a concept?
Think of something that's easy to lift and it's hard to throw.
I'm just putting down the most obvious thing I can think of. I don't know
Okay,
about
let's
this
go.
one.
5 seconds.
Oh my god, I
Here
don't
we
have
go.
anything.
5,
You can do a
4,
theme. You can do a theme.
3,
I didn't think of a thing.
2, 1.
Elevator. I just put elevator.
Bell, ball, spirits.
Ball.
It's feather.
Damn it!
Oh my god,
Damn Ah!
Feather, god.
But
I was also thinking like money because I'm like, hey, you lift the money real easy.
I
but it's
put
hard to
I
throw.
put elevator. Like it goes up, it lifts.
Damn, that is a good one.
What has a neck but no head?
What has a neck but no head? A guitar has a neck, but it has a head. So it couldn't possibly be a guitar.
Got it. I think.
What
Probably not.
has a neck but no head? Ooh. I'm taking a swing.
What has a neck but no head? Me. Okay.
Let's go 10 seconds. Oh, has everyone got an answer?
I got an
All right,
answer.
let's
The
go.
bottle
It's a bottle.
Hey, I said a bottle
on the
too.
board, baby. Let's go, Matty.
It came to me like right at the end where I was like, well, you'd say like the neck of a
Bottleneck.
bottle.
Yeah.
But there's no like,
Head, technically.
nobody's
yeah.
ever talking about bottle head.
I mean, the cap, I guess, but it doesn't.
Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't think of it.
You guys into bottle head?
So I'm at 0 and they both have points.
But think I've been listening to that Jigsaw into place, whatever.
So I'm at 0 and they both have points.
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right.
Wow. Patrick Williams.
What is it? 2-1-0.
2-1-0.
Okay.
This is fascinating stuff right here.
Time to pull away.
Okay.
He's looking at them riddles. He's looking at them riddles.
Rachel goes to the supermarket and buys 10 tomatoes. Unfortunately, on the way home, all but 9 get ruined. How many tomatoes are left in a good condition?
Now hold on a second.
Can you repeat it?
Read it.
Rachel goes to the supermarket and buys 10 tomatoes. Unfortunately, on the way home, all but 9 get ruined. How many tomatoes are left in a good condition?
Got it. Got it.
How many tomatoes did she buy originally? 10?
It says how many are good condition still.
Yeah, but how many did she buy originally?
10.
10.
I got my answer.
Are we ready? Hey, let's go.
I think
Guys,
so.
it says all but 9 are in good.
That's right.
9, right?
Good.
That's right, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I was like gonna say 1, then I was like, that's the trick, baby.
Good, that wording.
Yeah, I was like all but 9. I was like, okay. I thought it was also gonna. When he reread it again, it confirmed for me because I thought it was gonna be one of those things where it's like she never left the fucking grocery store. Or like,
Oh,
what do you
yeah,
mean?
I was
I was
like-
wait. I thought it
waiting
was
for
one
it
of
to
those.
confirm.
Like
stupid
before
fucking-
she went or some shit.
Yeah, I thought it was one of those stupid. But then the way he read it again the second time, I'm like, no, okay, she got home.
Yeah.
She made it with the tomatoes.
If you multiply this number by another number, the answer will always be the same. What number is this?
It had to go to math, my weakness. If you multiply this number, read it again.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
If you multiply this number by another number, the answer is always the same.
Okay, now we need the time here, okay?
This is gonna be
Now
important.
this is where the time
This
is.
is gonna be
number
important. For
By another number.
the answer is always the
answer's
same.
always the same. As in, the end result is always the
Just
same.
let him think out loud. Just think. Let him think out loud. Let him do his thing.
Like if it's x times any
Come
number.
on, buddy.
Count down.
Come on,
Count
do
down.
you have the time?
Count down.
Seconds.
I'm good.
All right,
One.
let's go.
It's 0.
It's 0.
Fuck! I knew it.
Anything you multiply by 0 is 0. That's
I
it.
knew it.
Same.
I was thinking 0, but
But
then
it-
I was like, but is it 1?
but
Because
if
it's
you
the
put-
same.
But if you multiply like 1 by 2 and then 1 by 3, the answer is not the same. They're different.
All right.
Well, that's why I was asking. Where I was like, is it talking about the end product
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
the other? I knew it was 0.
Matty, I'm sorry. I am an odd number.
Oh fuck.
Take away a letter and I become even. What number am I?
I'm take away a letter. I'm an odd number.
Okay, stop talking.
I am an odd number. Take away the letter. I become even. Got it. Wait. So sorry. What do you want as the answer again?
What I want is the
I'm an odd number. Take away a letter.
You're starting.
What
with
number
odd?
are you when you start without taking the
You're an
letter?
odd number. You just
Yeah.
say
What's
that.
the odd number?
Wait, can you say it again?
I'm an odd number.
Mm-hmm.
Take away a letter and I become even. What number am I?
Oh wait. Fuck. No, that's not it.
Let's go.
No, just give us a minute. No one has anything yet.
Hold up, bro.
Hold on a second.
20
I'm
seconds.
an odd number. Take away a letter and I become even.
You have to take
What number am I?
It's fun being able to look at the answer. Seeing everyone scramble.
Ah, I got it. You want the even number, yes, Malcolm? Or the odd number as the
Yeah.
answer. Got it.
Wait, you want the
motherfuckers.
odd number as the answer?
That becomes even when you take away a letter.
You want the odd number?
Yes, what is the odd number that becomes even when you take away a letter? Fucking nailed it.
It becomes even.
15
Oh
seconds.
my god, what is the odd number that becomes even when you take away a
Boom.
letter?
And everybody doubted Matty on the math ones.
I have no
They
idea.
forgot that it's really an English one.
10 seconds.
I'm just gonna go whatever. I don't know, bro.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Wait. Okay, I'm just gonna go. I don't even know, bro.
1. Let's see.
7 is not the right answer. I have no idea.
7,
The
baby.
answer is 7.
I got 7. What the fuck? Why is it?
The answer is 7. You take away a letter, S, and it becomes even.
Even.
Oh, dude, I just randomly guessed that.
7 bitches.
I had no idea. I just randomly guessed
Mark
that.
screen peeked.
You know what I was trying to think of like
God damn.
I wasn't thinking like a word problem. I was like,
Yeah.
you take a letter away. So I was thinking like if I take if I have 1 and I take an E off, it doesn't make it an even number.
Yeah,
type thing.
yeah,
I don't know. I was
yeah.
trying to think like that. Well,
What's a single digit number with no value?
Jesus.
I don't even know how these are riddles anymore.
what's a single digit? What?
What's a single digit number with no value?
I just want to apologize. I just ripped a couple farts recently and they stink. So buckle up.
no, Patrick.
That wasn't me.
I know, but you're going to be...
You're gonna
Paying
get
the
caught in the
price.
crossfire.
Oh, yeah.
What's the question again? I was too busy farting.
What's a single digit number with no value?
A single digit number.
Is this a trick question?
with no value. Isn't 0 a single-digit number?
Well, it's just all because we're all gonna say it.
0.
Right? So.
Yeah, I thought that.
Ah, they tried to bamboozle us.
Like, what's going on here?
There's no other answer that's possible.
Yes, yeah. You
Okay.
have so many single-digit numbers.
A tree doubled in height each year until it reached its maximum height over the course of 10 years. How many years did it take for the tree to reach half its maximum height?
Can you repeat it again?
Okay, yeah, you gotta give that
Yeah.
to me in steps so I can do the math.
I'll do it slow. A tree doubled in height each year until it reached its maximum height over the course of 10 years. How many years did it take for the tree to reach half its maximum height?
You know what this is making me think of? And this is kind of what it is, but this is making me think of, like, we need a topic on the show that's just, like, solving math problems. Just to, like, torture all of us of, like,
Dude,
hey, solve some math problems.
am I stupid?
What?
I feel like the answer is
Okay, so it goes 2 times its height.
every year.
Every
Doubles its height
year.
Every year.
And at 10 years,
How
it's
many-
at the
how-
max
Yeah,
height.
How many years until it's half its maximum height?
So if
Oh, I got it. Now that you said it like that.
if it's doubling
Shut up.
every year,
Shut up.
At what point was it like half of its maximum like height at the end?
okay, hold on a second.
All right, let's.
You gotta give me a second here. Hold on a second.
Oh, Matty's gonna do
So I'm
something.
just-
Count
So I'm
down.
just pretending that it's like 10 meters, and then in a year it's gonna double to 20,
I don't know.
Yeah, let's say it's
and then in
max
another
is
year
20.
it's gonna double to
Yeah,
40.
So at what point is it? It's half of its max. Figure that out. Now give him a countdown.
Well, wouldn't it be like it would start at 10?
Matty, stop talking about it because Patrick might get it if he didn't get
At
it.
year 1 it would go to 20, then it's gonna double again to 40,
Yeah,
Do
that's right.
something.
Countdown.
Do something.
60,
Do something.
120.
We're going 10 seconds.
So how many years did it take?
Okay, ready?
I'm just
4.
gonna say fucking
3, 2, 1. It is 9 years.
Damn it!
Who got it?
How?
Me?
You got it.
Did you not get it?
No.
Because basically it's like on year 9 it doubles every year. So year 10, year
Oh, fuck off!
from year 9 to year
Kill
10
yourself.
it doubles. Yeah, I put
Kill
I put
yourself.
5 originally, and then I was like, that's too easy of an answer.
Yeah.
I was like,
God
oh, double.
Damn it! Kill yourself.
Half its height.
I
God
fucking hope
damn
whoever
it.
created that riddle is fucking riddled with bullets.
Dude, I wanted you to stop talking about it because I knew if you kept going, you'd figure it out. 'Cause he was like, okay, so let's say if it's 20.
All right,
And
let's get
every
a timer
year-
going. Let's get a timer.
Yeah.
All right,
God damn it!
just want to give a preface. These next couple riddles are titled funny riddles. So
God.
What- how
maybe
was it-
think in a different way.
What's the scores at? What are the scores at?
Patrick's at 3. Mark, you're at. Oh wait, I was gonna give that point to Matty.
No, don't do that.
Let's go.
Matty's at 5, and Mark, you're at 6.
Bonk.
All right. How can you drop a raw egg from a height onto a concrete floor without cracking it? Think funny and wacky, okay, guys?
How do you
Nothing-
drop? Can you say it again?
How do you drop a raw egg from a height onto a concrete floor without cracking it?
A raw egg without cracking it?
It's funny, guys. Funny. Funny. Come on, think funny. Doesn't make sense.
Raw egg from a high height
Think wacky answers.
onto concrete
Without cracking it.
Let's think of wacky answers. Wacky.
How do you drop it?
I think after you hear this answer, you're gonna change the way you think for the next couple ones.
That's good to know. This is good for a test one.
I don't even know what the hell this even means.
Drop an
What does it
egg.
even mean? You know what I'm saying?
I got it. I fucking dude, dead to rights. I've got it. Dead to
I hope
rights.
you are.
Any way you
got it.
slice it, he's got it.
Patrick, you got it? Patrick thinks he's got it.
Screen peeking. I'm screen peeking.
All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's read Patrick's. Put it in a box with lots of what?
Cushioning.
Cushioning. You don't eat it?
You don't.
No, it's concrete floors are very hard to crack.
Ah,
This is why I freaking hate riddles.
they got me.
Like anyone would have, like any one of us would have thought that.
I really thought it was gonna be something like, how do you do it? You don't. Like, it's not possible. They
I thought it was
really.
gonna be like you cook it or something. I don't even know.
All right, maybe don't think the same way. As this,
sorry.
Ah, man.
Who has married many women but was never married?
Ah,
Who has married many women but was never married?
dead to rights. And I
What
know
does
I
that
said
even
that,
mean?
I know I said that about the last one, but I'm so confident in this.
He's right this time. He's right this time.
I have
Can
to
you
be right.
can you read the phrasing one more time?
It's literally that. Who has married many women but was never married?
Malcolm, I want you to know if I don't get this answer.
I feel like there needs to be an important qualifier here.
Which is?
I mean, I can't really.
Oh, got it.
Oh, now he. Great.
All right, let's go.
You're gonna harp on my point.
You're gonna beat up yourself.
Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
It's a priest or pastor.
Yep.
He married many people, but he was never married.
Yeah, I think the important qualifier is Catholic.
Oh, you put it. Oh, I see what you mean. No.
No?
was
Abuna's not married?
That was your important qualifier?
Oh, I like this one. Forward, I am heavy. Backward, I am not. What am I?
Fuck. Forward, I am heavy. Backward, I am not. What does that even mean? Like moving forward? Forward, I am heavy.
In its forward direction, it's heavy, and in its backward direction, it's not.
Don't box me into your interpretation of it.
And backwards, it's not.
So what it's saying is,
Can you read it one more time?
Forward, I am heavy. Backward, I am not. What am I?
Man, I'm really drawing a blank on this
Really
one.
focus on that wording, guys. Really focus on that.
I've been
wording.
okay for some of these. Even the ones I got wrong, I've been at least like I've been in the headspace to come up with something, but I got nothing right now.
Guys, think of the wording here. Think of the wording.
Heavy when I am forward.
Think of the wording, everybody. Let's think of the wording.
Heavy.
can you say it one more time?
Forward, I am heavy. Backward, I am not.
That's the full
What am I?
wording.
That's
What
the
am
full
I?
wording. What am I? Think of the wording, everybody
Forward.
watching. Think of the wording.
Forward, I am heavy. Backward, I am not.
Are you supposed to read it differently than it sounds?
Don't think so.
Forward, I am heavy. Backward.
Let's just do this.
All right, let's go.
Okay,
Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The truth?
The truth. Person with all right. Maddie, what do you got?
Why are we not going? Why are we?
Person with a big gut.
I was
Maddie?
gonna write fat guy.
Maddie, nothing.
I would have written
I was
fat
gonna,
guy.
I was gonna say the
Um,
truth or pressure.
It's a ton.
A ton?
what?
Mhm. A ton. A ton. Ton. Forward, a ton is heavy. Backwards, it's spelled NOT.
Oh, like flipping the word flipping the word ton backwards is not. Forward, I'm heavy like a ton spelled normally, and then backwards it's not heavy anymore because it's not. Ain't no one would have ever
Look of
gotten that.
disappointment on your face.
God damn it. That one hurt.
What'd you guys do if I flipped it around and I showed my work? I did ton, and then backwards I'd flipped it, and then
All right. What can you hold in your right hand but never in your left hand?
My dick. In my right.
can't hold it.
You can't do that.
Doesn't feel the same.
What could you hold in your right hand but never in your left?
Never in your left.
Something I can hold in my right hand, but never in my left. Oh, fuck. I'm really losing it in this game. I was doing okay, and now I'm just...
Dude, got it.
I'm totally just drawing a blank.
What's something that you can hold in your right hand but never in your left? If I'm wrong, I'm gonna be really embarrassed because I'm confident.
Something
go.
you could hold
Countdown. Countdown.
right, never...
All right, let's go. 5, 4, 3,
Fucking...
2,
I'm gonna pass this game
1.
Your
away.
left hand.
It's your left hand.
Oh, eat shit.
You got it too?
Patrick got it.
If you had given a quick countdown, you would have.
Well, I had it written down before I counted down.
Boy, I'm really pissing this away.
All right.
I feel like Mark took the lead here.
Mark is ahead of you by 3.
Me?
Yeah.
He was already ahead of me by 3. We maintained that.
Matty's tied with
I got a
Patrick.
point there, right?
No, yeah. Maddie is ahead of Patrick by 1.
Let's go.
So score is 8, 6, 5.
God.
God damn.
All right, let's get to it.
By the way, it's 10:55.
Jesus, Kevin's gonna kill me. I'm gonna do one more riddle. How am I gonna get there? Yo, I need your car.
You can use Maddie's car.
Oh, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. I'm gonna move for you.
Let's do one more riddle.
I have a head like a cat, and I feel like a cat, but I am not a cat. What am I?
I have a head like a cat and a what like a cat?
I have a head like a cat and feel like a cat, but I am not a cat. What am I?
I have a head like a cat. I feel like a cat, but I'm not a cat.
Not a cat. Just not a cat.
I feel like a cat. What says I feel like a cat? Like you can't pick Tiger. Tiger can't tell you I feel like a cat.
A cosplayer?
Like a cosplayer?
I was like, is it a dog? That doesn't make any sense.
A dog.
I was thinking owl. Has like a weird cat head.
Look like
I
a
don't even know
cat.
what it is.
I feel like a cat.
All right, I'm gonna give this one a quick countdown so we can get on to the next one, which is a bit easier.
Wait.
All right, let's go 5,
oh, holy mother of God.
I'm going for
5.
it, fellas.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Is it a lion? I think lion is a cat. Is it?
Furry. It's a kitten.
Damn it!
I was gonna write that, but it is a cat though, bro. Come on, get the fuck out of here.
Yes, bro.
So do I get a point for cat or like how's this work?
Yeah, but a puppy is a dog. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
A calf is a cow. You can't say a kitten is not a cat.
Yeah.
A kitten is a cat. It's just a young cat.
Very, very weird.
All right. Magic you.
So nobody got that one?
All right, I guess Mark takes the W.
Well, I was gonna say, are we just gonna end this, or do you
Might as
want
well,
me to
it's
move my
Patrick's.
car and come back and
I
then
mean, because
go without
Patrick can't even
Fahim?
compete.
Well, that's true. I guess you can thank you
Because of
can
Kevin.
thank Kevin for your
I can
losing.
thank
Okay,
Kevin.
I guess we're just cutting the cameras.
Oh, shit. Wait, I thought we were...
I'm still
I thought you
talking.
said cut it. I
No.
thought you said cut it.
Well, like we'll end, but I was still
Oh,
mid.
my bad.
Did you cut Malcolm's?
No.
And that's the end of topic 1, I guess.
Sorry. Okay, this is going to be really difficult for us to do, I think,
Here we
because
go.
it's a serious topic, and we've just been laughing.
Screen's glitching a little bit.
We've just been laughing for the past half hour. I don't even know how we're going to do this.
I'm ready.
My topic's more lighthearted if you want to blow through it.
Blow through mine and then get to yours.
No, I'm saying mine's more lighthearted if you want to keep that vibe going.
What the fuck was that?
What's going on?
What's happening?
What's going on?
Things are falling apart around.
What's going on?
Everything's falling apart tonight. You need to stop and go
What are
pick
you,
up
Rick
your brother.
Sanchez? Let's do your topic. We're still laughing.
Okay. Mine's not funny by any means.
I
It's just
know,
not,
but
it's
like
not serious.
lighthearted.
We'll get to
Yeah.
yours after, okay?
All right, I want to talk about something that's been bothering me for a long time, and I've noticed it, and I've brought it up to Patrick, and it's a big qualm I have with his home. Actually, there's no fucking tissues anywhere, dude. Downstairs in the whole house, not one tissue box, not one tissue. There's no tissues in his house. I had a fucking stuffed nose, and there was nothing to do. I couldn't do anything. I just sucked it up, bro.
Use paper towels.
Paper towels. What do you think I'm gonna fucking like? I'm gonna like.
Is this the topic or just a rant?
No, this is,
Tissues.
it kind of transitions a little bit into it, but like to use a paper towel on my delicate nose. I mean, everyone's nose is delicate. You can't fucking use your this rough paper towel inside your nose.
I'm not going to lie. What do you mean? You're
Paper
stuffing... You wanted to stuff something up your nose?
Sometimes you gotta just like grab a boog or just whatever, but like it's just too rough on the
I'm
nose.
going to be completely honest with you. You
Kleenex?
gotta put that down.
Bro, tissues are soft.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. We've gone so long without tissues in this house that my nose has adapted.
Is that why you can't smell anything?
Has adapted to the rough, texture of the paper towel. You know what I'm
Your
saying?
nose is all just calloused.
Looks
It's all
ain't
just
everything.
callous now. Yeah.
Did you have nosebleeds on the regular?
I've been getting them. Honestly, I've been getting them more regularly this year than any year of my
Because
life.
you have no tissues in the house. But
No, but I've been living like this for a decade,
A
bro.
lot of that going
So-
around.
Imagine how dry it is up there, huh?
so
I had a nosebleed. I don't know if Malcolm-
bring it right round back to the top.
I don't know. I don't know if Malcolm showed you guys this picture, but I got a nosebleed on the ski lift. We were on the ski lift going up Blue Mountain.
I
It's
think
like
the cold can
it's
make
never
it worse.
happened to me before, and so we're sitting there, and I just touched my nose, and it's like a red spot,
Ah, the
and I'm
cancer.
just like leaning over the
Cancer developed.
I'm leaning over the what do you call it, the seat,
The ski lift?
the ski lift seat. I'm
The
just leaning
railing?
over, like trying to like put pressure on it.
Maggie, I'm going to send you this picture and you're going to put it up.
We get
Okay,
put
please.
the picture up.
Send me the
We get to
picture.
the top. Right before we get to the top, I look at Malcolm like, "How do I look?" And there's blood all over my face. He's like, "You're not looking good." So we get to the top, and there's usually an employee at the top who just like is making sure everyone's getting off safely. I look at him like this. I make this face. I go, and there's hand. Oh, there's hand. There's blood all over my hand and my face. He looks mortified.
Why would you do that?
He was like, it looked like he like gasped.
You should have showed up like this.
And so we get off the ski lift. I go like to the corner. I start cleaning my face up with snow and like trying to make it like water. And he comes out of his hut. He's like, "Dude, are you okay? Like, do you need me to call you someone?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good, bro."
I don't know.
Why didn't you have just been like, "Hey man, I have a nosebleed," instead of coming up like you've been like,
I want to mess with
But
it.
you should have got off the ski lift all the store and like fallen.
Yeah,
off.
just like fell over.
You should do the thing like Eric Andre. You know, he's like walking around New York City with a parachute like hanging behind his back, and there's like a little like
I don't
metal in
feel
his head.
so
There's only
good.
one problem with that.
I
There's
thought
only
he's like, what? He's like, I jumped off a building, and he goes, why? He goes, I thought it was cool.
There's only one problem with that. Malcolm was the only other person on the lift with me, so automatically it's like, hey, what happened? Did you hurt him?
I just go away while you fall
You're
over.
just like, yeah, you fucking book it.
I just want you to go up there and they try to talk to you, and then Malcolm's like, oh yeah, he's fine, and they go, are you okay, man? And you're just like, like fucking not there.
So what's the topic?
Okay, so the topic initially was like, you know, tissues. And how important they are to have in life, and then I was like, that's not specific enough of a topic, or that's not interesting enough of a topic. So I was gonna go like broaden it to like essentials, just like different things in your life that may not be like, you know.
So point out other things in my house that I don't have that's essential to you.
I don't have
Toilet
anything else
paper
in
in the
mind.
bathroom sometimes.
What do you? Okay, that was one time where we didn't restock the
There was a
toilet
couple
paper.
times.
Okay,
It
a
was
couple
nice.
times where we didn't restock the toilet paper. I don't use that toilet, just for the record.
So we're gonna go back to what I was saying. So
the topic is just shit on Patrick's house.
no, the topic is how poorly equipped Patrick's
So
home is.
tissue, like
Toilet paper.
toilet paper, yeah.
So
Kleenexes.
there's I'm thinking essentials, not stuff like that's
Food.
I'm thinking more like
Toothpaste.
shit that's not as, you know, though it's not important to
Yeah.
like, you know, it's kind of like, it seems like normal and kind of like mundane, but it's
Yeah.
like super important to have, like tissues. Another thing for me is like, you need to have Lysol wipes or wet wipes in the home to like, you know, clean up spills if something gets
We don't
sticky.
have
You have
Lysol
wipes.
wipes. We don't have Lysol wipes.
Okay, how do you clean up a sticky mess?
Oh, wet paper
He,
towel.
he licks it up.
Wet a paper towel. And then
We make a big mess.
we take
You need
advantage
some
of paper.
Pampers.
We take advantage of paper towels in
He,
the female
he,
household.
he utilizes his nosebleed.
Honestly, I can't think of any other essentials other than tissues that are like kind of there, but like small little things.
Like,
just
what
around
about a
the house.
bidet?
Dude, a bidet is
Bidet is
crazy
pretty
essential.
I don't think a bidet is essential. However, I will
definitely not
just say
essential.
I was just talking with Michael.
Really well spoken by someone who's never actually
Yeah.
had a bidet.
I
in
was
his life.
just talking with Michael, and I was like, Michael, you want to go like halvesies on like a bidet on Amazon with me?
Dude,
What?
do
And he was
it.
like, I guess maybe. I was
Bro,
like,
your
okay, I
your
think I'm
butt
gonna
will
do
never
it.
be clean.
Matty, you have no fucking idea. I don't. Here's the thing. It's been my whole life, so I don't know what it's like being on the other side.
Yeah.
Although I've gotten tastes of it when I'm like at school.
Yeah.
And like I had a really bad stomachache and I had to go to the
Exactly.
bathroom.
Yeah.
And I had to buy baby wipes, and even a million baby tried. It doesn't. I don't feel fully clean.
Why'd you
get
have
baby
to,
wipes
why'd
at
you have to,
school?
why'd you have to buy baby wipes?
I bought baby wipes at the Shoppers Drug Mart on campus because I had a mess in the bathroom.
Wait, yeah, what?
You bought baby wipes?
What do you mean?
What's happening?
I don't understand. What's so confusing?
You're telling me you like crapped yourself and then went and bought baby wipes?
No, wait. What are you talking about? I'd say I took a shit. I don't understand what's happening right now. What is happening right now?
Patrick and Malcolm like that one. You pooped first,
Yeah.
then left to go to Shoppers.
No. I'm confused. What's the question?
What was the process? What was the order of things?
I'll tell you the whole story.
Please
I need to hear this.
enlighten
I
us.
had Chinese food,
Okay, good start.
and then I shit my brains out in the toilet.
Right,
What do you mean you made a mess in the bathroom?
I'm saying I had a bad time in the bathroom,
right.
and I just wiped as any non-bidet user would wipe, just with toilet paper, and I didn't feel clean.
So you went and bought
So
baby wipes.
after I finished wiping the non-good way, I wiped as much as I can with paper towel, and it wasn't working very well. Because guess what? A lot of shit and dry toilet paper is not going to do the trick, right? So after I did that, I walked around and I was like, I don't feel clean still, even after I cleaned myself with the toilet paper. So I went to the Shoppers, bought baby wipes, went back to the bathroom, and tried to clean up further.
Was there a lot of like brown stains on the wipes?
No. I mean, there was definitely, but that's how I knew how important bidets were, because when I went back with the baby wipes,
You felt clean.
With the toilet paper, it seemed like I got most of it or all of it. And then with the baby wipes, I was like, I did not get most of it because there's still the baby wipe like gets a deep clean.
Yeah, my mind kind of like wandered in a few directions there. At first, you were like, I made a big mess and I had to get baby wipes. I thought you were like cleaning the toilet or something.
No.
Like you had to.
I was just trying to be funny about me having a bad time in the bathroom.
Yeah.
When you said that,
You succeeded.
I just imagine you had the biggest shit that you had to go to the extent of going to a store to get another source of like your ass to figure it out.
The toilet paper in
Toilet
here
paper
is
wasn't
not
good
enough.
I used all the toilet paper. No.
Oh my god,
No,
Jesus Christ.
I wiped and then I was like, is this what people feel like when they go to like take a shit and then they use like normal toilet paper and no bidet? And it didn't feel good. So I honestly think that people who have never used a bidet before, if you try it, you'll never want to go back to being less clean.
I've
There's
used it once or twice
I'm
before.
I'm
I just want one now.
I'm telling you, there's zero chance that you like use it a few times in your home and then you go, not for me.
Now, two things. One, is it stimulating?
It's pretty stimulating.
What does that like?
have-
just one more thing.
Oh
on,
my!
To have
just one
water
more thing on
spraying in
Mark's
your
story.
ass.
I thought.
I'm gonna answer his question in a minute.
Yeah, one more thing on your story. Another branch of thought that I had was that you like tried twice with the like toilet paper, gave up, and like try to like put your underwear on in a way where like no shit would go on it, so you
God.
waddled your way to the shoppers.
That's horrifying.
Back to the bathroom.
And then back to the bathroom.
There's shit all over my balls and stuff.
Right.
That's a horrible idea.
Oh my god.
No, I literally used a lot of toilet paper and I still didn't feel good. So I bought baby wipes and now I always carry baby wipes in my fucking like bag.
Yeah.
So I'm like anytime I like have to go take a shit and like I'm not gonna feel comfortable using just regular toilet paper.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the reality is most of the Western world will do that. They'll have a horrible shit,
Yeah.
bad diarrhea, and if they're at home, they take a shower. That's the general rule of thumb.
Yeah.
If you're not at home, you just suck it up and I guess be dirty.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I know you don't use toilet paper often, but do you guys ever have that like?
I use toilet paper.
No. Sorry, I meant like.
Even at home with the bidet.
You usually use a bidet, right?
My how I use the bidet and how I'm sure most people use the bidet is depending on the severity of the poop.
Yes.
Let's say it's just an average one. No big mess but also not like super clean, just like normal. You let the water run. You can set the temperature as well. I think usually mine's like room temp
On the
or
bidet?
something. Yeah.
Wow.
You can, yeah.
So usually I'll keep it like it's probably like room temp, maybe even a little cool. So I'll run it, and you can increase the pressure or decrease the pressure depending on how bad the poop is. So for example, like if an average one, I'll go like mid-level, keep it running for like 30 seconds, and then after that, most of the time, and I'll increase the pressure a little bit, go back down. When I go to wipe with the toilet paper, this is gonna blow your mind. When I go to wipe with the toilet paper, clean already, and I didn't even wipe once yet. I wipe a cursory wipe, and I make sure to cover all the surface area. Nothing, no shit at all.
When you were a kid, did you ever? Because there's like a pressure valve.
Drink out of it.
There's a pressure valve. Did you ever like experiment with like the highest pressure when you were a kid?
Of course.
I experimented with it on your wall.
Yeah, I remember that. This guy cranked it, and there was just a big water stain on my wall.
I
But
want it to be like a power wash. Like I want
Oh,
it.
no.
it is
God.
intense.
I want it to blast my ass
Matthew,
because
it
I also
stung
want it
me.
to. I want it to feel good. Let's be honest, and I want to be able to like walk around and hear my fucking colon squeaking. That's how
my
clean it
God.
is.
Dude, here's the thing. You know what's I don't feel this feeling very often because I have a bidet at home. But when I don't feel clean like that one time,
Yeah.
when you do use a bidet, you want to increase the pressure so it can like properly clean.
Yeah, and you need to,
Yes.
position your butt.
And you got to shimmy a little bit,
Yeah.
and it's the most satisfying.
It's so satisfying.
It's the most satisfying.
When you hit the bullseye.
No, when you're not feeling clean, it's like the most annoying feeling of just kind of like something's not quite right.
Yeah.
So when you finally clean that, like
That's
you
right.
can feel as you're doing that, you start to get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner until you don't feel any discomfort. You walk around and there's no like weird rubbing. There's no weird you just feel normal.
Yeah.
Matty,
I,
It's life changing. It's
Well,
life changing.
I was gonna. Sorry, I just wanted to ask you guys. For those who don't have a bidet, have you guys ever had that kind of crap where you take it and it's like not a crazy crap at all? It's like pretty standard, even
Yes.
maybe a little less than standard. But you have to use a mountain of toilet paper still. Have you guys ever?
Not
had
only
that?
do I have to use a mountain of toilet paper, but I have to dig into my ass
Yeah.
as deep as I can go to get it all out.
Yes.
Guess what, baby boy? No problem with the bidet. You don't have to waste any toilet paper. What the amazing thing about the bidet is it's a one-time purchase, and you can buy it now. The great thing about the bidet is that even though sometimes they're expensive, you install them, you use them, and then the toilet paper is saved. You barely use any toilet
Oh
paper.
my God, Matthew's gonna buy one right now.
Please
He's gonna buy one right
Go,
now on
baby.
the show.
Live on
Oh
air.
my goodness.
Matty, I was gonna say I wanted you to cut this, but there's this toilet at school. where I do make a mess almost every time I take a shit in it, because every time I flush it, I don't know how it flushes, but it flushes everything in up. So whenever I flush it, my shit literally comes out of the toilet.
I think you're clogging it.
Can we? I don't want to cut that. There's no specific details. Can we just leave that?
What are you saying?
I think that's a clog. No?
Let's just leave it.
You're
It's
saying
not clogged because it flushes, but my shit comes up and all of it splashes up.
You're saying every single time in
No.
this particular
No.
washroom.
Jesus.
Why do you keep going there?
Okay, two things. One,
Why do you keep going?
This is the most comfortable spot.
I'm just imagining Malcolm like try it for the 4th time and just like watch it. Is something gonna be different this time?
one, I want to leave this in, but two, on Amazon, immediately the bidets pull up. The 2 best sellers here.
Can you search
This
that-
one on the left here. Underneath it, anything stick out to you about it?
Ultra slim
One on the
minimalist
left.
bidet for toilet, non-electric, dual nozzle.
The main one here.
Frontal,
the main one.
Press
here.
on it.
Frontal and rear wash.
What are you watching on
Press
the front?
press on it. Yeah, where's the frontal wash?
Does
Front-
it seem
frontal-
odd to you that says 3 used?
Oh wow.
Fuck is fucking
Yikes.
Also,
bidet.
the frontal wash is for women
Actually, yeah, women use it for the
for
vajayjays.
cleaning the front.
What's because there's ones you can buy that are just like they don't
Matty.
plug into your like
Matty.
pipes or anything. You just like attach it. What is
You know,
that?
you know
Where
what
is that?
You know what I've heard is that the Washlet is a really good brand. Can you search that up on there? Is it even available on there? Washlet bidet.
We
Washlet.
we moved away from Malcolm's thing way too quickly,
Let
by the way, boys.
bidet.
We gotta get back to that.
Bidet seat.
Total wash.
$600.
Yikes.
These are the ones that I've heard people like glow about on Tom Segura actually talked about on his podcast. He's like, it's life changing. But obviously, honestly, start with the $58 a month one. You can go used if you'd
A
like.
month?
A month. The $58 bestseller rather.
But so what is the? I need like a full picture of this. This is.
So-
but what does it
so-
look like in the bowl?
No, can you
there
Can
we
you,
go.
can you show that nozzle again?
This
Yeah,
thing?
can you zoom in on it? Yeah. So you're gonna turn it towards one
The
direction.
little ass.
Yeah,
Ass
yeah,
cheek.
and then you turn it the other way. I think for the front for women, and then
Got a little
the more you
bit.
twist it, the more. And also, I don't think there's a temperature
There's
setting
no
on this
temp.
one. Doesn't
There's no
look like.
temp one on that.
So
yeah.
likely what it's gonna be, and this is fine, and this is the temperature I use
I'm
anyway.
selling this product.
Is that I don't even think mine has a temperature setting, to be honest. I think mine is just like cold. It's like cool or something, and it's fine. I don't want it to be hot water.
I like mine warm.
A little bit warm. Yeah. I mean, I get it, but I don't like the idea of like.
Okay, and looking at this right now, clearly I'm going to need to put a slight bit of thought into this. So I don't
Yeah.
want to buy it.
No, that's
I don't
good
want
that
to
you
buy
didn't
it
do that.
right now
Yeah,
on
that's
air.
good,
But I
that's
want
good.
everybody to know that on air I did pull up and look at bidets.
I've said this story. I've said this little anecdote a million times, and it's stolen. I'm not making it up myself. But imagine the idea of you have a hairy arm. Somehow you get shit on your arm. I don't know how that would happen, but you get a chunk of poop on your arm. How are you gonna clean it? Are you gonna use a dry piece of toilet paper and just wipe it? My ass is hairy, and most men's asses are hairy.
Let's go.
So if you get poop on your butt and it's hairy, dry toilet paper is not going to fully clean it. How are you going to clean your arm? You're likely going to use soap and water or whatever. You're going to use water 100%. So the same idea should be applied to the more sensitive part of your body. The butt is more sensitive than the arm.
Bidet
So if
sales are going up
So
after
if
this
you're going to
episode.
take good care of your arm and wash it, why aren't you going to wash your posterior?
If any bidet companies would like to reach out to us for a sponsorship, I'd gladly take one of your bidets and use it. And
I'll
then
take one and
report
try
back,
it. Trial run.
to see how it goes. So this topic is now bidets. I've decided. I'm going to title it bidets.
Hold on. Are we
Dude,
done?
I'd love to
No,
be
we can keep going. But I'm just saying in the YouTube thing, like it's going to be like
Bidet,
gaming
might-
news,
might as well put a
riddles,
poop emoji.
bidets.
I just need to know. So when you're at this particular toilet at your campus, and you're saying crap rises.
No. It doesn't rise. It's kind of like imagine like a blender, because that's how strong the flush is. It's like,
Jesus.
and then it just goes.
Okay, so you're still sitting on it at this point, so it's going up on
I'm
your
not
ass.
Sitting on it. It's a push a button thing, and I know how it is. So I get up, I back up, I hit it with my foot, and then I leave.
And then he runs away.
So you're telling me that you
What does it look-
sprinkle shit all over the washroom for the next person?
What is the
I'm not gonna clean it. and
wait,
I
wait,
just
wait,
shit.
wait, 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 wait.
Have you ever stepped in it accidentally?
You're not. Here's the thing. You're sort of asking the right question, but not quite getting. What exactly does the bathroom look like when you're done with it? What exactly happened? Like, where does the shit go?
The toilet seat is wet and poopy.
But that doesn't sound like you're clogging it or anything. That just
No,
sounds
I'm
like
not
the
clogging
toilet's
it. It's
fucking
just
up.
it's the toilet.
You know what it is? My dad always laughs about, because my dad was like deeply scarred with a lot of things. Like my dad was deeply scarred, but as a kid, he always says where one time he took like a fucking whole pear and threw it in the toilet because like his mom, like my grandma was like, "Eat your pear." He's like, "No," and he threw a whole pear in the toilet and flushed it and just immediately clogged like their toilet. And he's just saying, he's like, "Oh my god, being like a little kid and just seeing that water rising and rising and rising was such a horrifying feeling." And then he talks about when my parents were on their honeymoon and they went to Paris, whatever hotel they were at, the way the toilet when you flushed it, it didn't just go down,
Went up
it like
first?
went up, then sucked it all away. And my dad was saying that. It was like, yeah, it was like our first night at the hotel in Paris. I took like a dump and I like hit the flush thing and it just, and it was like, oh my god. And he said he like just started freaking out. It was like, Betty. It was like getting my mom being like, yeah, like, and then it all
What is
just
she
went
gonna?
away.
What is she gonna do?
But then it all just went away and he was like, and then he realized that like that's how the toilet functioned. That is one of the scariest feelings
That
in the
must
world,
be
though.
that must happen in a matter of seconds. We went to code red, meltdown, and that.
Well,
Dude,
that's
let me-
never happened to you. I get that same instant like
but I wait to see what happens.
eight brain fight or flight of like, I've definitely had some times where I flush the toilet and it doesn't fucking go down right
Dude.
away. It does just start that slow rise and I'm like,
Yeah.
Dude, there's no
immediately I'm like, oh my god, it feels like my life's over.
Dude, there's no more devastating feeling in life than when you're not at home and you're in a public place or you're at someone's house
Oh god.
and that happens and you immediately like your face just goes serious, like what the fuck am I gonna do?
You lock in,
lock
you lock in immediately.
Yeah.
Can you-
Dude, you're locked, and then you're like, "What am I gonna do?" And then to me, the conversation like the thought process becomes, "Where am I gonna find like a plunger?"
without
I'm-
anyone knowing.
And also,
See, but you're saying
how,
if
how does
you're
a
like,
plunger work, by the way, right? Because there's a plunger.
I
in the
think it
fuck-
builds pressure.
No, I understand that. I'm
Yeah.
saying I get how the I get the
Oh.
general idea of it.
Okay.
he understands the science.
Okay.
I have to.
I'm something of a scientist, but I'm talking about the actual plunger.
Mm-hmm.
You use it, and likely there's gonna get you're gonna get poop all over it.
Yeah.
Right, because you're shoving it
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you take it afterwards? You go to take it to like the shower, like wash it. Like, what do you
Honestly,
do? What are you
so
doing?
you're
man?
being-
You're being
things.
courteous
Two
enough
things.
wanting to unplug the toilet in public.
Two things. One,
Not in public.
if I'm at home and it's rising, scary. If I was at one of your houses, scary.
What do you do
Public,
at home, even with the plunger?
Public,
You just
I
walk
don't
out.
give a shit. Public, I walk out like so. Public, I walk
Smiling
out
ear to ear.
I walk out whistling. You know, like hands in my pocket, like fucking playing,
Walking around like-
playing it cool. But here's the thing: you also sparked. I'm looking at people like for no reason. Like, that guy- what
Why
that
is he
guy-
looking like
That guy
that?
just came into the bathroom. Clearly, he's done
Hands in his
something.
pocket.
Clearly, this guy has done something coming out of the bathroom like that. No, but you bring up this good point. My fucking. We're gonna contain the rage at home. In one or two of my bathrooms, I think the one on the main floor and maybe my parents or it's Michael and I's. We have beside the toilet one of those brush things.
Yeah, you get
Where it's
they
like
get
that,
all
like-
shit
where
all
it's
over
like-
them.
it's like- it's
what
like-
do you do with them?
Shit
What do
like
you
this.
do with them?
But this is my point.
It's like
Anytime
pronged, right?
in Michael and I's bathroom, if like one of us takes a shit and there's maybe a little bit of streaks left in the toilet,
Yeah.
I do one of two things. Hear me out on this. Number one, if it's deep into the bowl, I say, okay, I'll get you later. And the next time I have to take a piss,
Sure.
I am blasting that shit away with my power washer. Option two is if it's high enough, I will flush the toilet so that there's now clean water in the toilet. Then I will flush it again, and while all the water's gone, really quickly run in with like toilet
You're
paper
a better man than I am.
and get it.
Wow.
But here's the thing.
Toilet paper.
Your hand is tarnished.
No,
That's
like
that's
a
finger-
wad of toilet paper to just like it's. I'm
don't know
I'm
why-
over exaggerating it, like I'm washing a car. It's more of like the toilet water goes away, and I just do like a.
I don't know why I was
Chuck it.
picturing like the smallest, thinnest sliver.
Yeah,
No.
that's what I thought. Like a
No.
real square.
No, it's like a wad.
Definitely-
with his finger.
Definitely shit on his finger.
It's like a it's like a wad of toilet paper. It's just a quick little.
So for
and
example,
that's it.
you took a square and you like you like folded it a couple times and then
like
you,
2 or 3 squares and
Oh,
bunched
wow.
it up.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is,
So you're wasteful.
my parents get mad at Michael and I if like there's like poop stains left in the bowl, and they're like, "We have the brush, just brush it away." And I'm like,
Yeah, and then you
and
put it
this
back
is
in the
what-
fucking slot
This is
with
what
shit
I'm
in it.
talking about because I take the brush. Sorry for all. I'm gonna have to cut all this mic noise, but I take the brush and I go, okay.
By the way, can we say
Toilet bowl's clean.
Works super well.
Works like a charm. Toilet bowl's clean, and then I'm staring at this brush, and there's no clear, obvious shit on
Covered
it.
in
There's no.
shit,
I
dude.
don't see a single.
Oh, okay.
I don't see a single speck of brown.
Yeah.
But I know it's on there because I just.
Yeah, you scrubbed it right on.
And then I'm looking at it, and this is what my parents want me to do.
You smell it.
No. I take a little taste. No. I go right to the little fucking thing it sits in, and I go, okay. Put it back in its fucking spot. And I'm like,
shitty dome.
so now there's just this like brush with shit particles all over it, just sitting in this thing beside the toilet. I'm like, and that's the ideal solution.
Dude, it's even worse when there's more streaks, because I've used it before, and I'm like, what the fuck? What is the use of this product? Because now it's covered in poop, and I'm supposed to put it back in this plastic little slot. Like now I have to wash it. This product is not useful. I might as well use a freaking towel and then go wash it. Like, what's the point of that product?
Talking about this brought up a very embarrassing story.
Here we go.
When I was in cadets, I went away for like a weekend for training somewhere like I don't know, like near like Peterborough, I think.
Trenton?
Trenton, yeah. I think it was Trenton. And it was like a thing where everyone sleeps there overnight, and the next morning we were doing some sort of drills, and I went to take a shit in the bathroom, and I clogged the toilet and I left it. And immediately, there was only one stall.
Oh my God.
Immediately after me, one of the like chefs of the place went in to take a shit, and he noticed that I clogged the toilet. Obviously, because there's only one
noticed.
stall. And I was already out with
And
the
he was
like
going
maybe
like
with the maybe like 50, 60 other cadets that were like doing the drill, and he's screaming at me. You
Oh my God.
fucking clogged the toilet! You! I see you! I'm pretending
Oh
like
my
it's not me.
God.
Like, I'm staring forward. I'm like, please stop talking to me.
He's pointing
He's
right
like-
at Malcolm.
He comes right up to me. He gives me the plunger in front of everybody,
Oh,
boys
no.
and girls, and he tells me to get back into the fucking bathroom and unclog this
And Malcolm-
toilet.
Malcolm-
Right at
Malcolm's
Malcolm. Malcolm's just doing one of the like the me?
What?
This fucking guy's like, you.
He doesn't want to.
Wait, can you just paint the picture a little better? So you're saying that the stall is here, and you guys are doing some drill thing
Okay, so it's
5 meters away?
There's one floor. There's a bathroom right here, and we're like doing a drill right outside the bathroom here.
Yeah.
I just walk out. I try to get back into the drill, and he's already on his way back out with a plunger, yelling at me.
It was
That's rough. That's rough.
You clogged the fucking toilet. You're fucking disgusting.
But here's my question.
I love the idea of Malcolm standing still looking forward and everyone facing him.
Here's my question though. We talked
Oh,
we
God.
talked briefly about the brush, the scrub brush, very common in households. We also talked about plungers. Seriously, how are you supposed to use a plunger? Like if there's like a big mess and you're trying to use the plunger, what are you supposed to do with it after?
I
What are you
guess
supposed to
the
do with
idea
that?
would just be like rinse it off.
What I do
That's
is like
disgusting. Where do you rinse it
after
off?
the
Where do-
toilet
what do you-
flushes, I flush it again so the clean water comes, and then I kind of like do it
Dude,
around. and
I've done that
under.
before. Still stuck.
What?
There's still particles on there.
There's always gonna be
100%.
particles on there.
It's gonna be disgusting. But then
Do
where,
it
you,
in
where
the
do you?
sink.
But then where do you put a plunger?
On the floor.
Bare floor, right?
Bare floor.
Some people do it.
Honestly, I've done
Your
that,
floor's
and
covered
I
in
pick
shit.
it back up, and there's literally a brown ring on it.
Exactly, dude. Plungers are disgusting, dude.
I'm not gonna lie, Isabel's got it really fucking pissed
Just
off
this
at me
little
for that.
fucking donut.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how are you supposed to like horribly designed products with no? I just don't know what you're supposed to
Oh
do.
my
with it.
God.
Let's get on Shark Tank with a better plunger.
You know what I want?
Maybe this is just the bathroom topic.
You know what you gotta do? Get rid of all those products. No, none of those. Just give me fucking like airplane level vacuum suction, dude. Like it sucks hard. Like it's like a fucking gunshot, like a rifle shot. Just boom, sucks the shit down, right? Because I've been to so many homes and public places where I flush, I go number 2, and I'm like, I don't know if it's because I have above average like width poops, but as soon as I click the flush. It's slow as shit. I'm like, done. We're done. It hasn't gotten clogged yet, but it will get clogged.
That's the worst. I find with like when you're
It's
in like
slow
a
as hell, dude.
Oh
when
my
you're in
god!
like, when you're in like a public
Oh
toilet.
my
I'm
god!
a gassy boy today. Usually I'm not the one that farts on the show all the time, but tonight I'm the.
Honestly, I don't know if a vacuum. Sometimes
Oh,
I
that's a
have.
rough one.
Sometimes usually after Indian food.
That's a rough one.
Jesus Christ, Matthew.
Is it bad?
What the fuck is up with the show? What has tonight turned into? Jesus Christ. Let it hit you.
He's
let it,
embracing it.
let it
It
waft
sounded
over.
like an old wooden door opening.
That was over the duration of like 3 seconds. 3 Mississippis.
What the fuck was I gonna say? Oh, the worst is when you're at like a public toilet and you hit it and it does that thing where even when it's like a small shit and it like maybe gets like half of it, but then half of it just gets like stuck in the hole and then slowly floats back out.
It's just looking back up.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when I'm on the toilet and I see it's about to plug, I'm like, there's a smile on my face because I'm laughing. That's almost gonna go into there.
Dude,
See giant shit just in the toilet.
Oh my god!
I freak out, and I'm like, my life is ruined,
like,
dude.
That is asshole energy, bro. What the hell?
Dude, I feel like
fuck.
I feel like
laugh. Sorry, Mark. I laugh when I use the toilet. It goes everywhere.
So that's why you keep going to that one in New York, bro. Because like, you get a kick out of it.
He keeps using that toilet because it's amusing.
Oh my god!
Oh, man.
I feel like you have, of all of us, you have the most toilet-related stories. Like, can you please enlighten them as to how many times you've clogged the toilet downstairs? You've clogged it many, many times. I'm gonna guess upwards of 5 times.
Maybe.
There was a summer, I swear to God, there was a summer before COVID where he would be at my house pretty often. It was like something like once every 2 weeks. Patrick was the plunger. We clogged the toilet downstairs. You put that thing through a beating.
So anyways, if you're satisfied,
Yeah, I'm satisfied.
I guess we'll move on.
Okay, so let's try and collect ourselves here. I want to preface what I'm about to say by saying that I'm not going through an existential crisis right now.
Okay.
Okay,
wow.
good.
But I sort of wanted to...
What's the point of anything?
What's the point of anything? Why are we here now?
I don't want to be here.
Actually, that's right on the head of the nail. You hit it right on the head of the nail. I want to talk to you guys about meaning and what you guys think the meaning of life is.
Wow. What a
and-
left turn.
Yeah. We went from Malcolm clogging the goddamn toilet to this.
The meaning of life.
You know,
So,
are you done?
no.
Oh, sorry.
So there's, in my mind, 2 sort of main schools of thought almost. One of which being existentialism that says, okay, humans are the ultimate agents in their life and they make their own meaning. There's obviously a more theological based approach saying, okay, God is the one that gives us meaning. And then I guess the third option, which is tied into the first option, is that there is no meaning at all and life is meaningless, obviously. So what do you guys... it's so hard to get into this, I know.
I guess it's kind of contradicting considering I enjoy leaving shits in toilets for amusements, but I see life as like I want life to be like, it's so hard to word this.
Mm-hmm.
Like the meaning of life to me is like being loving and being kind and kind of like enjoying everything you do. And I don't know, just like, I try not to stress so much about anything. I just try to look at the bright side of things. I'm like, oh, well, you know, at the end of the day, everything's just going to be fine. So I just always...
So the meaning of life to you is being loving
It's just...
and being kind to the people around you. That's
yeah,
the meaning of
just,
life.
Just
Okay.
like everybody.
That's interesting
I mean,
to say that.
to an extent, but
I think-
everybody.
I don't know. I mean, what's the
Just-
question?
just
like,
to-
what's the meaning of life for me? Is the question, or what do I think?
What do you think the meaning of the life
for everybody?
For everybody, like, what do you think the meaning of life is?
I think in that case, like, because if you ask for me
and
specifically,
you could answer it by saying like, yeah, you're more of
'Cause
an existentialist
yeah.
bend.
yeah, I think I am. Because I mean, what Malcolm was saying was like, that's what the meaning of life is for him.
Yeah,
Like he said, like to be kind to everybody, to be loving. Like,
yeah.
but someone else may not have that perspective. So to me, it's just like saying everybody has a different meaning, or most people, like everyone's gonna have a slightly different meaning, or some people are gonna be existentialists, some people are gonna be something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like to me, it's like the truth, in my opinion, for me is like, you know, I'm gonna have a different meaning than Malcolm, and so life is just what you choose it to be, what you make it to be. I just feel like whatever you kind of like. I'm trying to think of how to word it here. I think, yeah, it's just like whatever you put out there, whatever you like. Your perception is your reality in a way. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like, if you perceive life to be about being loving and being happy, that's what the meaning of life is for you. But that there's no such thing as, to me, like one true meaning of life for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people's meaning is like, oh, the meaning of life to me is to laugh and to have a good time. And someone else might say something like Malcolm, like, to me there is no one true meaning. I think that I might agree more with Malcolm's meaning than your meaning or whatever. But I think in acknowledging that, I guess I'm existentialist, because I'm like, you know, it's like it's up to individuals to decide, I guess.
So wouldn't that mean ultimately that there is no meaning to life then?
No, I don't think there's a grand meaning. Yeah, I think there's like individual subjective meanings, but I don't think there's like one true meaning of life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
And so there's no purpose.
there's no particular purpose for all of. To me, there's no particular purpose for all of life as we know it. I guess
Okay.
it exists, and human beings create purpose for themselves, and for their
themselves.
families and for communities and for countries and for content. Like there's like it's kind of like a tiered thing, I think. But
Yeah.
I don't think there's one unequivocal like this is the true meaning of life.
Yeah. There's an underpinning to this argument, or there's a flip side to this argument where it becomes an argument or a discussion of the existence of a higher power, a higher being. And I've heard recently, and it's interesting that Malcolm said what he said. I heard an argument recently of this person trying to rationalize, okay, is there meaning to life, and what is that meaning of life, sorry. And this particular person was a religious person. They were like, the meaning of life is to love God with all your heart and to love your neighbor as well, kind of thing. So the second Malcolm said, oh, like the meaning of life to me is love, kind of thing. That, like, my mind went to that argument because he tried to abstract it out to everybody, where it's like everyone's purpose is to love, kind of thing. That's the purpose of life. You know what I mean?
But even
to
me, like if I like, I agree with that personally. For example,
Yeah.
like I largely agree with that. That for me, the meaning is to like spread joy and positivity and all that stuff and love and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like I wouldn't just connect it to like, oh, that's everybody's purpose. It's like that's what I believe my meaning is, for example. But
Well,
I can't speak to anyone else's
yeah.
meaning.
Yeah, his argument was that everyone has this inclination for, I guess, loving other people.
Or is he saying that everybody has that's the objective meaning of life, and then some people may acknowledge that, some people may not?
That's what he's saying, but I don't understand the insistence on linking that with the existence of God. Like, why does the existence of God?
That's the same question of people being like. That's the same question
I
of
literally
people.
lost my train of thought.
It's okay. It's the same question I feel like of people being like, oh, you need faith to have morality. I guess that's like the same idea, right? Of like, why does being a good person have to be linked with a particular faith, for example?
Mm-hmm. And in the same vein, can there be an overarching meaning to life without God?
That's right. Yeah.
Because I've heard a lot of like debates on this topic in the last week or so, and it always comes down to like, okay, is there an overarching purpose? And if there is, or sorry, what am I saying? The arguments always boil down to, we do have a purpose, and we have a purpose because there's a God, kind of thing.
He gives us our purpose.
He gives us our purpose, kind of thing.
Without him, there is no point.
Without him, there's no point. And again, I'm just trying to figure out that connection of why can there be an overarching why am I saying that word wrong every single time? Can there be an
overarching? Or
overarching? What is it? Can we make a
Over-
consensus real quick? Arcing or arching?
But either
Arching?
or works.
Say overarching.
I think
Can there be an overarching purpose
all-encompassing.
without there being a greater, higher being, kind of thing? And I
That question just confuses me. I don't know why. Like, can there be can there be a what you said?
can there be an objective purpose to life without a higher being? And in my mind, intuitively, I automatically think no. I don't know if it's because of all the arguments I've heard in the
I just think
past week, but
I just think it's impossible to say objective purpose.
I was just gonna say.
Who can determine that?
I was gonna say like I was gonna
that's
answer.
where God comes in. God can. If there is a God, then that's where it's determined, kind of thing.
I understand that, but to me, faith.
What did he say?
But to me, it's like it's the same idea of like if you have faith that God is real,
Yeah.
there's still someone might tell you like I know God exists,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, like you don't know.
No,
you have faith that he
you have faith,
exists,
Yeah.
and so if someone comes to you and tells you I know that he doesn't exist or I know that he does exist,
Well, they're full of it.
I don't believe either of those people because I'm
Yeah.
like there's no way to know for sure that he doesn't, and there's no way to know for sure that he does 100% he does exist.
Yes.
You feel it, you know it for that for yourself. I believe in it,
Mhm.
but it's impossible to say 100% that it does exist.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like it's the same thing with saying like the objective purpose. Like
Mhm.
you may really believe in your heart of hearts that this is what the objective purpose is, but there's no way to truly prove that this is the one true purpose of life. Like
Yeah.
that's why I think that for you, like I said, your objective purpose is connected to God and whatever, for example.
Okay.
But Matty's isn't, and that to me is like his purpose, even though it's different from the God connected purpose, can still be as valid as my God given purpose. Meaning that there is no one true. There's super valid ones for individuals. Like it, to me, it can be as genuine and powerful to him as mine is to me. So they're equal in a sense. There's no
I don't know that.
There's no ranking of like my purpose is better than your purpose, and it kind of overshadows all the other purposes.
I feel like there's a really glaring hole in that sort of
saying that everybody has subjective purposes. How's that glaring?
Well, let me say.
Sure.
I feel like there's a glaring hole there because someone could ask you, what if someone says my purpose is to kill all the Jews, for example, like be like Hitler?
Okay. That's your purpose.
You're saying that they're all equally valid purposes.
No,
is that purpose valid?
No, but I'm not saying they're all equally as morally acceptable. I'm just saying I'm saying that if that's your purpose, that's a horrible purpose. But that's how you view your purpose, and there's no way for me to be like, no, that's not your purpose. That's what you think, and it's horrible. But like in my opinion, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like in that point, we can all agree that I think we can all agree that couldn't be the purpose to life, in a sense.
But if I'm operating under the fact that there is no one true purpose.
We don't know what the purpose of life is, but we know what it's not.
It doesn't make sense to me. But to me, if you're operating under the existentialism thing, which says what exactly?
That people make meaning for themselves.
Yeah, so that's your meaning. That it's gonna be your meaning is a horrible thing, and I disagree with it morally.
Yeah.
But I can't be like, his meaning's right, yours is wrong, his is right. It's like people have their own meanings, and I may disagree or agree with it, but I can't say that this is objectively not the meaning of life. It's like it's not the meaning of life for me, and I don't believe that's the meaning of our world.
Yeah.
But I can't. It's the same thing. I can't say for sure that it's 100% the meaning or not the meaning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you could say that like, oh, surely it's not the meaning, and like most people would agree with that. At the same time, it's like that's what subjectivity is, I guess. You know.
Matty, what do you think?
What is the meaning of life? The way you're talking about it now, and I think I understand what you're like getting at, Patrick, of this connection to a deity of some kind and deriving the meaning of life.
Yeah.
From that. And the way you're talking about it and phrasing it now almost puts it in my head because it kind of goes along similar to what Mark's saying and also what I think about it of, I guess, if the question is what is the meaning of life, I guess the only way there is an answer to that question if there is a God.
Okay.
Because if there is a God, like if God, the Christian God, Jewish God, Islamic God, Buddhist gods, Hindu gods, whatever gods, fucking Zeus comes down tomorrow and is like, I'm real. Mm-hmm. And this is what the meaning of life is, then it's like, all right, then that's what the meaning of life is. So I feel like there's almost only an answer to that question if there is a God.
Okay.
Like it is contingent on there being a God. However, because I do not believe in any gods and don't think there is a God, then it's where I arrive at my actual answer of like, what is the meaning of life? I don't think there is an answer. And what I mean by that is like, it's what Mark's saying in the sense of like it's entirely in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, that's
of what the meaning of life is.
It's
you
up
make
to you
your
what it
own
is.
meaning.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to really get nuts and bolts about it, again, not believing in a God, there's also a part of me that thinks there is no meaning to life. On the other side of that coin of like, we're just these, bundles of atoms and cells and shit on a fucking rock drifting through space that like the entire universe could give less of a fuck about. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you want to get like really nuts and bolts about it, there isn't any wider, broader meaning or purpose. Even the ones that people derive for themselves, even that isn't like some sort of true meaning because none of it means anything if you really want to get like, mathematical and kind of logical about it. But that's why, again, to me, it's like if there is a God, then there is a meaning to life because the God's going to tell you what it is. And if there's no God, like I think, then there is no one true meaning.
Yeah.
There's probably no meaning.
But even
it's more of like a what do you make of it?
But even if you were to operate under the premise of there is a God, like I think, like you said, it would have to be like this entity comes down and says this is the meaning and lays it out. But like there are so many different gods and different religions and stuff. So even if you said, oh, God is real for sure, it's like, which one are we operating with? Are we operating with the Hindu ones, the Muslim one, the Christian one? Like they've all set like in their holy books, they've said slightly different things. So it's like, which one are you going to take as the true meaning? That's one thing.
Why I'm saying, to me, it's like, what is the meaning to life? The only actual answer to that question is contingent on, is there a God? It's, like the fucking flowchart. If yes, you have a meaning. If no,
no particular meaning.
There is no meaning, literally speaking.
But there's
in actuality, there is no meaning.
But there's emotional meaning.
But it's like you derive and make your own meaning.
This may sound super simplistic and really stupid, but like to me, I just think about it like if you were to ask me what's the best movie of all time, it's like it's not. I don't know. I mean, this is the best movie of all time, and I so believe that it is. But like you may have a different answer, and I can't 100% disprove that because that's just there's no objective truth to it. It's just like there's no proof 100% that that's what the best movie is or whatever. So I think it would, like Matty was saying, like it would have to be like, he comes down tomorrow and is like, the meaning of life is X, Y, and Z. Then it's like, okay, now it's irrefutable. Everybody saw it. Everybody heard it. It's been spread around. But since there's no one true thing that's been like agreed upon by anybody, it's like it's just up to you.
So yes, I think it's in a thing of like, until proven otherwise, and a God comes down tomorrow and is like, this is what's up. Then it is a thing to me of like, yeah, like what is the meaning of life? Then it's like it's entirely up to you.
I think that's
and
beautiful.
Up to the person of like, what is the meaning of life? Because for some people, it's like something as simple as like starting a family and having kids and like
that's
that
what's beautiful
kind of thing.
about it, though.
And to other people, it's like I'm gonna dedicate my life to the arts or whatever. Or for other people, it's I'm gonna dedicate my life to like volunteering and charity work
or like
and that kind of shit.
Innovation and pushing the human race forward.
Sure, like the sciences or
Yeah.
business and coming up with like the next product or some doctor doing a medical breakthrough. Like there's all these different they're varying scales and degrees, because even again something as simple as like I want to have a couple kids and like raise a family. It's like that could be your entire meaning to life, and that's wonderful and totally in like up to you. And tons and tons of people out there who don't want kids or whatever would be like, well, the meaning of life to me isn't fucking starting a family or whatever. But it's like, but that's the point is there is again until Jeebus or Yahweh or one of these guys comes down and is like, check it out kind of thing, and they drop that hot mixtape. It's like,
but to me that's what's beautiful about life.
There is no meaning. It is just it's what you do with it. And again, in a literal like cosmic sense, it's like, does any of it matter? Does any of it mean anything? It's like, I don't know. Probably not.
I think it's
again until proven otherwise.
The question is very similar to saying, is God real? You know what I'm saying? Like you're like, oh, I don't know. You don't know for sure, but probably not. Like that's what you would say, right? It's like a very similar thought process of like you said. That's why it's so inherently linked to God, because it's like I feel like it's a very similar question. But what I was gonna say is, it's like I think that's a part of what makes life so awesome, is that all these people in life have different meanings for that they view life. Like, oh, like I was put on this earth, this is the meaning for me. Like the meaning for me is to like literally physically heal people and like do surgeries and whatever. And someone else might be like, the purpose of life is to like, make people feel awesome and entertain them, and then they're going to be a movie star or whatever. It's like all these people having these different meanings takes them down different paths of life. If everybody has the same meaning and they're like 100% this is the meaning, and they all go down the same path, then there's no uniqueness in a way. There's no like I mean, obviously you have personality and stuff, and like, but in a way it's like that solo purpose that you develop for yourself is what makes like humanity so interesting and diverse and cool.
The only somewhat, and even saying this feels quite nebulous, but the only somewhat objective, I guess, meaning you could maybe prescribe to life that would make any sense to me, other than something like a deity of some kind would come down and be like, this is what's up.
Is there something about death or something?
Is like using the time you've got, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that it's a very broad
It's like
and
opportunism.
vague statement, but to me, it's this idea. Ricky Gervais or someone talked about this idea where it's like, you know, when you look on your tombstone or whatever, it's year you were born, you died, and a dash in the middle, and it's like, and I think this was a quote of his where he's like, make that fucking dash count, or like make the most out of that dash between the two numbers, kind of thing. And I feel like that's the only thing you could maybe I guess it sounds like it's a snake eating its tail kind of thing, but it's like, what is the meaning of life? To make meaning, I guess, or to live a meaningful life in whatever way that means to you. Don't live some shitty life that is either like something everybody agrees upon is wrong, is like, oh, you're some like greedy corporate asshole, or you're a fucking serial killer or whatever. It's like, well, that may have been your meaning, but like, fuck that kind of thing. If your meaning is, I want to teach, or I want to heal people, or I want to design the next big thing, or I want to do the arts, or I just want to raise a family, or I want to fucking, you know, be entertaining, or just be a loving and kind person, like, whatever that means to you, do it. In my estimation, would be like, what is the one meaning of life that is not God derived? Would be to live a meaningful life in whatever way, you know, that means to you on an individual basis. It goes back to what I'm saying about it being up to the eye of the beholder. That was a lot. I'm sorry.
Do you want to say anything?
No, I think it's all been said.
You know,
That was a lot. I'm sorry, but I don't know. So, what do you think?
What do I think?
Does any of my ramblings make any sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. The only thing that makes me not like the existentialist viewpoint is the opening for like corrupt
meaning.
purposes,
Yeah.
corrupt meanings, and so
You're
that
saying
would
you don't like
shift
the idea
us
of the
into
object. You don't like the idea of like of there being no objective truth, I guess. In a
not
way.
necessarily. It kind of, I think it shifts us to sort of a different discussion of like moral relativism.
Relativism,
think,
yeah.
right? So the question then becomes, okay, is
There's no such thing
morality
as right
relative,
wrong.
or is it objective kind of thing?
Yeah.
Is morality what?
Relative or objective?
Like, there's just such thing as like the true. This is the true good thing to do, bad thing to do.
I don't think there's necessarily truly like morality.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's a human concept.
Yeah.
It's like you're saying it's human created. It's not just a thing that exists.
It's just a thing that
Yeah.
like somewhere along the line through hundreds and hundreds of years and evolution and all this shit and like starting to build societies and all this stuff, it was like, maybe murder's not so great.
So you're saying inherently morality is relative to human beings.
Yeah, like it's a thing we make up. Animals with no sense of self-awareness aren't walking around half the time being like, I'm not going to do this thing that we would consider like immoral. Like it's just in their code of like, all right, whatever, fuck it. Like I'm just doing what I got to do to survive. And that's not that animals don't have any sort of like empathy or like compassion in some respects, especially like smarter animals. Like, you know,
Yeah.
if you have a dog is not going to like run around like a fucking mutant just terrorizing things and like killing people, but like, you know,
So
Yeah,
I guess it's interesting.
a bear in the wild that catches and kills like a deer isn't thinking like
Yeah.
this is morally wrong or this is morally right. It's just like it's just doing what it does. We're smart enough to have the thought process of like, you know, maybe we shouldn't go around killing each other all the time because that's like not beneficial to, you know,
Yeah.
when
I
you're
think
some
you're-
cave dwelling society fucking hundreds of years ago and it's like, well, we're trying to keep a tight knit unit. So what do we want to get out of like our social circles? Murder.
I think what you're saying is like, isn't it dependent on whether you're seeing it as within humanity or external, like Matty was saying? Like you're saying about like the relativism thing. It's like, I think if you were to ignore the context of, if you were to only focus on humanity,
Yeah.
then maybe it's easier to see it as like, no, there is like, this is what's moral, this is what's not, because we've all agreed that this is what it is. This is just a human concept, and if you were to ignore non-human things, this is the truth for us. That's the truth. This is how we see the world. This is how the world is. Because why would we try to see? Why would we try to see the world as an animal? We're not an animal. This is what the truth is.
What's tripping me up, though, is that the notion of moral relativism allows for cultures to exist.
Oh, I see.
And
Do,
in
like,
fact, they
horrific
have
things?
exist that we perceive as like having horrific sort of aspects to their culture kind of thing. Like cultures that stone adulterers, I guess.
But
Like,
isn't that
we find that horrifying.
But
kind of
isn't that
thing.
what I'm saying? Where it's
Yeah.
like it's an entirely made up thing that like you could have an entire country of people that are like, yeah, this checks out, and an entirely different country of people on like another corner of the world that's like, what the fuck are they doing over there? Like that's insane kind of thing. Like isn't that? That's what I'm saying. Of like it is this like. It's this like thing that like we I guess look at or like cling to as like civilized people around the world and whatever, but it is like a thing. It's not some like thing that just exists as like a force of nature or whatever, of like morality. Like you can't measure it or like find it in any sort of like scientific sense. Like it's just kind of innate within us.
But then how
like,
can we? Then how can we? How can we put our foot down and say something like the statement of slavery is wrong? How can we be confident in any sort of statement like that if we're going to die on the hill of it's all relative?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We created all of it.
That's what I just said about like within humanity or external from humanity. We could still we could still operate under the idea of we're looking at humanity. We've agreed that this is the objective. This is objectively morally wrong within humanity and or right within humanity. So I'm saying like with the whole slavery thing, it's a different culture. It's still humanity. So
Yeah.
we've agreed that this is morally wrong, and like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but once upon a time, the majority was that slavery is right.
Yeah, but it changed. And that's like, what's your point?
So my point is, how can we confidently say it's wrong if it's just majority rule? Like, we're gonna just decide as a majority that this is right, this is wrong, kind of thing.
We can't say, but there's no such thing as it's 100% right or wrong. That's what I'm coming back to. It's like we can be pretty certain, but I know what you're saying because back then they were pretty certain that it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's like, I don't know. To me, because of that always like ever changing like perspective of humanity, I don't think there's such thing as like the absolute moral good thing to do. There's things that we believe are very good to do, and we're pretty sure that they are. But if people from 100 years ago looked at us now, they might be like, this is morally wrong. This is morally wrong. I think it's tough. I know what you're saying because it's like all these other cultures in different countries doing like horrific stuff, and we can't challenge that because it's everyone up to their own type thing. It's like it's a double-edged sword, but I don't think you can go any other way. You can't be like, this is the absolute objective moral truth. Like I don't think that's fair either.
Again, it's a very like nuts and bolts mathematic, not in a literal number sense, but like it's a very like, I don't know, almost like detached way of like looking at it, and it's not how we operate, and in a lot of ways I don't think it's how we should operate, even though I'm saying it's like, well, is there some true like morality out there? It's like not really. It is just something we've all made up and agreed upon, but I do think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that we all sit around and we're like, so
What
murder's
is?
bad, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everybody goes like, yeah, and they go, okay, good.
Yeah.
And it's like, slavery's bad, right? And everybody looks around and goes like, fucking yeah, are you serious? It's like, okay, good. And
Good to have nuance.
and then that we can look at like, other parts of the world where it is like slavery or murder or this or that or whatever, and like look at things and be like, that doesn't quite check out. Like I think that's good, and I think that is an example again of like some innate, whether it's an evolutionary thing or whatever it is, of like thing of us just internalizing shit as a species and being like, this works out, this probably doesn't, so like maybe let's do less of the murders and like blah 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 blah, because then it like benefits us as a species in all the sense. Like I'm sure there's some element of that to it all.
Or you could couldn't you also argue that there is you could argue that there is one true objective moral truth, but that humanity is just kind of like creeping its way towards that type thing. If you didn't want to go operate with the idea that it's all relative, you could be like, oh, it's there, and through social development and biological development, evolutionary stuff, like humanity's slowly getting closer to it, or maybe it's not.
Yeah.
But it's there. You could argue that.
Now,
I guess.
this is another conversation that again has the idea of a deity lurking.
Sure. Again, this is
So
another thing where it
this
gets
idea-
solved immediately if God comes down tomorrow and was like, "Hey guys,
Yeah, yeah.
So here's my
fucking
question.
Killing is definitely
slavery's
wrong.
dope,"
So-
and then everybody would be like, "Well, God says slavery's dope. I guess it's okay."
Well, here's my question: can there be this? What's the word I'm looking for?
All knowing and all good.
No, I'm not trying to. No, can there be this objective standard without there being a God? Can there be this thing that exists apart from humanity, that is an objective standard without God?
Maybe, but even that's a very
What does that?
nebulous.
What does that even mean, though? Do you mean like like the traditional view of God, or you're saying like, what if it's like some like alien entity? Like what-
Sure, like some higher being that's greater than humanity.
you're saying can it exist without that higher being there?
Can the standard exist without there having to be some being?
But there has to be something to tap into, I guess. So like, how would you tap into it if there's nothing there? If there's no like force there, type thing. You know, like how would anyone ever figure it out? Is what I'm thinking. Like, there has to be something that influences. Or-
Yeah, like how would we ever know? Kind of
Yeah.
thing. Oh,
How would we connect to it?
Well, I don't know. To me, it's a yes and no thing of like, again, if God came down tomorrow and was like, "Hey, I'm God. This is like
What up?
the meaning of life. Also, here's what all morality is," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then it's like,
Dude, I knew slavery was not great.
then it's
I
like,
called it.
then it's like, okay, I guess that sets the standard now of like
Yeah.
what the truth of the matter is. So without that, it's kind of like then you are operating on more of like a whatever we collectively
I feel like that's scary, though, isn't it?
agree upon and shit.
Wouldn't it be scary if there was one, entity came down and was like, "This is the truth. This is what's good. This is what's bad." I feel like,
I feel
in
like
one
a lot
way,
of people wouldn't
in
even.
what, in
like,
what, yeah.
I was just gonna say like if one entity just came down and said like this is how it is, that a lot of people just wouldn't go along with it. Like humans are emotional beings and they think for themselves, and just because something says it is doesn't mean it
No,
is. Like if God came down
Imagine if God came down
and
to every
said that
single.
slavery is right, I wouldn't believe that.
Yeah, but that's because you. I mean, let's say for example, like God came down to every single city in the entire world, so no one was just like word of mouth. It was like literally he came down to every single place, and everyone heard it directly from him. It wasn't like, "Oh, my buddy told me." So
Yeah.
in that way, I understand like you would still not have that natural instinct to be like, okay, like you'd still feel like it's wrong, but that's because of years of human development and stuff like that. But I feel like what I was gonna say before you were saying
That's-
that, it was like
Yeah.
I don't remember what I was gonna say. Continue.
Oh, now this guy made me lose my train of thought too. What were we just saying?
I think we were saying.
Can there be a standard without a being?
Oh, what I was saying
Yeah.
is how scary would that be? Is what I was.
Oh,
gonna
that's
say.
what you
I
were
was gonna say
saying.
that would be terrifying because it's like. Then there might be something where, like the example of the slavery thing, or something that we've agreed upon as society, of being like, oh, this is fine, this is not good, and all of a sudden it's like it's good. So like we all have to like abide by that, and it's like there's no room for debate. There's no room for arguments. There's no room for, but what about this point? What about that point? There's no nuance anymore. It's just everything's black and white, and it's very like, like before it could just be like, we have a conversation. There could be like a spectrum of like consequences, for example.
Which
Like,
is
But now it's like, oh, like bad, horrible consequence.
Mhm.
Good, like you're fine. Like
Mhm.
it's like very like scary how you deal with that sort of thing.
which is one of my many frustrations with religion generally of like, hey, you're either, get on the bus or we're running you over kind of thing. And there's no like, not to
You're almost there.
pick on Catholicism or something too much in Christianity, but when it is the thing of like Christians and Catholicism and all this shit where it's like, yeah, we really don't like the gays or whatever. And it's like, can't you just be gay, but also be like a totally decent person and like a stand-up person and like, live a good life and whatever and still wind up at the pearly gates and whatever, and like all these Christian people would be like, no, because you're gay, and it's like so no wiggle room, no nuance. It's just like, oh, you're a dude that happens to like cock, and like that's it kind of thing. Like you're fucking have fun in the pits, like kind of thing. And that's why it's incredibly frustrating to me of like the lack of choice, I guess, that it presents. And again, this is why I'm saying before, where it's like to the meaning of life or to the morality question, it's like, yes, if there was a God that came down tomorrow and was like, this is the meaning of life, these are all the moral things, peace, then it's like, okay, I guess we've got that now for whatever that's worth. But it's like, I would prefer the way it is now of like there isn't an answer, so we are working on it.
And doesn't that seem more natural too? Because like the entire world is set up in like the world's never been black or white. There's always been patterns in the world, and one of those patterns to me is like complexity, like high levels of complexity, not just like very simple one category or another category. There's like a million subcategories and categories between that, and it's like, to me it just makes more sense logically that there is no black and white, there is no truth 100%, this is what it is, and there is no, like, you know.
I think I would rather have the choice than the binary of like, hey, do what God says or you're fucked. Like, there is a part of me that's like, I'd rather we all just kind of figure it out ourselves. And, you know, sometimes we get where we're going and sometimes we don't. And sometimes we make the right decisions and sometimes we make the bad decisions.
I agree with what you're saying.
But at least we, you know,
yeah,
progress gets made. And, you know, to Mark's point, people have brought that up before of like, we look at people from 100 years ago and we're like, well, how the fuck did you do any of this shit? It's like, I'm sure people 100 years from now will look back at us and be like, some comedian made the joke of like, why do you put your fucking phone with the Wi-Fi that causes cancer right next to your testicles in your pocket? Like, what the hell were these guys thinking? No wonder they all got ball cancer. So I'm sure there's an aspect to that too of like, you know, we can't also look at now and be like, oh, how high and mighty we are. Because I'm sure people, you know, whatever. But it's a whole brain scratcher.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah. Big brain teaser.
And just like the thing I was just talking about, in this sort of conversation, there is no right answer either. There is no like, oh, you know, existentialism is the thing. It's like even it's like very meta. Within that conversation, we're disagreeing about it externally, and then you can disagree about it internally when you're
Yeah, because I say I like the choice, but God comes down tomorrow and he's like,
Sure.
dudes, eat all the meat you want, drink as much as you want. I don't know where this no premarital sex thing came from. I'm all for fucking. I'd be like, dude, like, let's do this. What are we talking about? Murder's bad. Protect puppies. Slavery's bad. And I'd be like, this guy doesn't miss. Let him cook. Anyways, so if you're out there, God, you better have some
Comment on this video.
like and subscribe, God.
it's just first.
Are you satisfied, Patrick?
Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Well, there you go. What a heady and deep way to end a show about video game news, riddles, and shit in the bathroom. Well, anyways, this has been I would say, very good episode. Wildly adequate. Fellas, is there anything we want to get off our chests before we go?
I'm so tired. I want to go home and
I'm
sleep.
hungry.
You're hungry.
Kidding.
No.
I liked the conversation about games in the beginning. I didn't
Yeah.
necessarily anticipate it becoming my topic for this episode, but that's okay because I'll save my topic for next week.
Perfect.
Well, anyways, I guess that's it. It's late. We're tired. We're going to get the fuck out of here.
So bye.
Like, share, subscribe, comment. Please do the thing. Check us out. Goodbye.
Thank you.